Hello, Ruel. Are you there? I think they can't. Audience, can you hear Ruel? Because if not, I have made a terrible, terrible mistake. They're too busy hugging each other. Nope, they cannot hear you. All right. Then you can chat with them for a second with your fingers while I know what I did wrong, and I totally forgot to fix this before we went live because I'm a doofus. Yes, I am. I'm a doofus. That doesn't even rhyme. Alrighty. So I need to come over here and I need to point this output device to, right, where is it? I need to point the output device to not A or B, just the regular one. Right. Coming back over to the Discord. Virtual audio cable. Boom. So, and if I save that, then hopefully now the folks can hear you.
Okay, friends, let's see if you can hear me now. I am speaking. Hopefully you can hear me. Let us know in chat.
Please do.
And also, sound
yes.
good? All right, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Normally in the countdown, while we're waiting for us to go live and doing last minute things, today we realized, oh my gosh, we're able to talk. Normally we can't do that. In the back of my head, I was thinking, oh, that means I didn't fix stuff. And I sure did not. But that's okay. Let's see. And we were also talking right before we went how lately I've been a bit louder than you. So I'm going to bring myself down a scooch. So I'm kind of hovering in the low yellows. There we go. Right around there. And then you talk for a bit and let's see where you're hovering.
Yeah, okay, so I'm talking right now. This is my normal voice, ready to talk about games. It does say, Goblin says it's quiet and out of sync. Okay, that's probably before we started to work on this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. About even though Bing says, okay, sound on both ends, Meeples and Mocktail says, okay, cool.
Okay. All right. Woohoo!
Yay.
I'm very hard to balance for because once I get going, I just creep up and up and up and up. Whereas I think you're kind of slow and steady. You know, whatever your enthusiasm level, you still just come in. I probably need to install some filter limiter, some such things, which I've never actually messed with. I think it is time for me to grow up and learn to use volume maximizer. Who's a what's it? But in the meantime, hey Flashburn, thanks for resubscribing for 2 months. We are slowly working our way up to the next RVR. We have a new RVR we have to do this month, Ruel, and I have no idea what we should do.
Yeah, I was, we talked about this the other day. We do have a date set though, right?
That does sound right. I believe we did choose a date. It was like maybe the Thursday. Right? I want to say like Thursday the 24th, maybe.
That sounds correct.
Pulling it up just to make sure, folks.
Okay.
Set your calendars for
And I'm going to set
no,
my
not
calendar
the 24th, the
sure.
21st. The
21st
of this
okay,
month,
there it is.
Which, coincidentally, I didn't realize this when I proposed this as a date. That's the day of Jen's and my anniversary.
Oh, congratulations in advance. And I mean, do you want to take that day off to celebrate?
No. It's totally fine. Okay. Ask us what we did for our 30th wedding anniversary, Ruel.
Hey, Rahdo, what'd you do for your 30th anniversary?
Nothing. We forgot.
You forgot.
Yep. We also forgot our 10th wedding anniversary, I think, as well. Oh, wait, is that? I think someone has challenged someone to a duel. What is going on?
Nice.
Let's put them in the foreground. Let's see. Can I watch it? All right. Oh, it's Duck of Death versus Kabuki Kid.
Ooh.
In a battle for the ages.
So what happens? They go... Oh, wow.
Yeah. And Kabuki swings and misses, getting Duck of Death a big step up. Oh, Kabuki is on the ropes now. And Kabuki misses again. She's totally panicking. Perhaps she should pull that bandana around from her eyes. Or she needs some 3D. A third miss in a row for Kabuki.
Wow.
Duck of Death is untouchable. No doubt she is blinded by her stars. And then the coup de grace. And
there it is.
What were they? They were dueling for 10 coins. Which, come on, you two. You've been on the show a long time. You should be dueling for like 100 coins or 500 coins. Make it something, exciting there. But
right.
that was fun. All right.
That's hilarious. I love it.
Yeah. Let's see here. So,
cool.
But Folks, we are not here to watch you duel amongst yourselves. We are here to, fulfill your other needs because, we have such a ridiculously long list of reward requests. So we just need to get to it.
Yeah, and I just you were fixing the audio stuff, I saw a few more people request stuff as well. So there's a lot of things happening. Folks, we appreciate your patience as we get through the list of things we need to do.
Yep. Ruel was pointing out before we went live today, it's probably time for me to start raising the rates a little bit because probably a bunch of you are sitting on thousands of points now. And so there might be some inflationary adjustments going on very soon. I might have to play the Fed and mess with interest rates or something like that. But in the meantime, let's just, again, we're going to skip the argument for now. And again, my apologies to Exacting Vampire. We will argue, I promise. But in the meantime,
one of these days.
Din Rawls, 2 weeks ago, Ruel, asked us a very simple question. There can be only one, Ruel. Trajan or Bruges?
Oh. Okay. For me, it's an easy choice. I have not played Bruges, so
really?
Trajan.
Well, does that mean you've played Trajan? You know Trajan. Don't you want to play Bruges?
I do, but if it's only one, I have to go with what I know, right? What if I play Bruges and it's not for me? Then I'm sort of stuck.
Yeah.
Whereas Trajan, I know, okay, I like it.
Fair enough. Yeah,
what about, okay, so that's easy for me.
Well, for me, it's Trajan as well. Actually, I'll be honest, Bruges is one of my less favorite felds. And it's not to say I don't like it, but, at first I thought it was okay, and I was fine with the random swing of luck element of it because so much of that game is just drawing cards blind and hoping for the best and you got the perfect thing you wanted and I've done it 4 times and I've gotten crap every single time and sure I can do other things with this card, but it'd really be nice if just the thing I wanted showed up in my back pocket. So so that was always just kind of stuck with me a little bit, but to be fair, they have fixed that with the sequel Hamburg. Because, Bruges is not getting a reprint. Bruges is getting a re-theme 2.0ification. It's published by Queen Games now. It should be coming out this year, Hamburg. Yep. And the thing about that one is there's not just, you don't know Bruges. Bruges, there's one big master deck, or there's 2 master decks of cards you draw from, and you don't know exactly what you're getting, but you know the color of the card you're going to get, and both decks are just shuffled up randomly. Now, all the different color cards are put in their own decks. So when you go, you can know, okay, I don't know what I'm getting, but I know what color I'm getting, and you can target much more specifically what you want. And having played that, I like it much more. So if the question was Trajan versus Hamburg, that would be a trickier one. Because Hamburg really levels up the game in a significant way for me. At this point, I'd probably still go Trajan, kind of for the same, because I've played them both a bunch. But honestly, if it were Jen, I think she'd go Hamburg over Trajan. And she loves Trajan, but she really, really loves Bruges. Loves it to pieces. And Hamburg getting even better. I think that would be where that one comes in. And Blunderbuss TV rated us with 38 viewers just this very moment. Well, wow. Welcome to the party, new pals. How are you doing?
Welcome, Blunderbuss. Yeah. So folks that don't know Blunderbuss TV, that is the collaboration between the Brothers Murph, Paula Deming, and Matthew Jude. They have launched this new channel where they're doing a bunch of non-board game stuff as well.
What? When did this happen?
Yeah. They just, this was, I think, like a few weeks ago. So thank you, friends, for joining us from Blunderbuss TV.
Well, what was the non-gaming topic? And I should warn you, folks, it's going to be all games today here. Well, actually, that's not true. Yeah. We're in the pre-show right now. Anything could happen right now, quite frankly.
Yeah. So the stuff they're doing, like video games, RPGs, and stuff like that. So just board game adjacent, I would call it.
The stuff Twitch people want to see, basically.
Exactly.
They're trying to work their way up the Twitch algorithm, if there is such a thing.
Yeah. Fair enough. Whatever works,
Yep. That's cool. Okay, well, hey everybody, welcome. We are in the pre-show right now. We have a big backlog of tasks that the audience has requested of us by spending channel points. You just missed there can be only one, Trajan versus Bruges. The answer for both of us was Trajan, although Hamburg makes a big, which is the replacement for Bruges. Let's see. Yeah. And then next up, last week, Super 1491 requested a This or That, which is very, very cool. I enjoy This or That. Okay, folks, for the next few minutes, bombard us. Deluge us with this or that type simple questions. Luke Skywalker or Han Solo, Darth Vader or Thanos, peanut butter or jelly, and we will answer your questions as best we can. And we'll do this for a few minutes, which actually I have to admit doesn't get asked very much, but it's one of my favorites. Let's see.
I like this one too. Yeah, here we go. There's a bunch
Are
coming in.
Are they starting to come in? Then bring them.
Let's do it. Here we go. Rosenberg or Feld?
Wow. Oh, Feld.
For me, it's a little closer.
Yeah.
Gosh, Rosenberg? Maybe?
Really?
Well,
what is so important in Rosenberg's Uwe? What's in Uwe's Uwe that you must take it over Feld's felicitations? No, that's terrible. I didn't work. But anyway.
Two things push it over for Uwe for me. Number one, he does more polyomino games, and that's more mine and Michelle's jam.
That's true.
Second thing is, Feld, for whatever reason, I don't know why he always picks these publishers, the colorblind issues. His games are horrible.
You're right. They never give it a second choice. There is always red, blue, green, and yellow every single time.
Yeah. And then there's like beiges and tans and like, come on, really? So,
and
as much as, Castles of Burgundy, it's ranked so high on my list and I love it, but I had to manually, write stuff on my board and my player pieces in order to play that game. Yeah. So
here's why we're terrible at this or that. We're supposed to be banging through these.
Oh, yeah. We're talking, okay, here, night or day?
Oh, day. No. Yes, I prefer sunshine and daylight. Definitely.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, it's a close call because I tend to work better late at night, but then I enjoy the daytime. So let's continue here. A cardboard or... What? Cardboard or plastic cards? Plastic cards.
I think I have seen some games that have plastic cards. They're really much sharper and crisper. I hate them every time because they're much harder to shuffle. I like riffle shuffling. So, plus there's the sustainability, reusability, recyclability issue. So yeah, definitely, cardstock cards over plastic cards any day of the week.
Same. For me. I haven't come across so many plastic cards that I like.
Yeah, they're not that common. But they're super tough. They last forever, obviously.
Yeah. What about Linnaeus asks, game storage, vertical or horizontal?
I have always preferred the verticality because I like my walls to feel more like they're a bookshelf, so I can feel all snooty and upper class. Look at my massive library. And I have actually had some boxes get kind of crushed because, here's like 6 heavy boxes on top, and I didn't quite realize they were a little bit bigger than the box that I happened to put at the bottom, and so now there's got like this kind of divot on my, I've got a few of those.
Yeah. I lean towards vertical because, yes, it does look cooler, but honestly, I'm going to show you, folks.
All right, do it.
I have a copy of Marrakesh stacked up like this, and then, look at this. I do a mix of both.
Your answer is all of them.
Yeah, totally. All of the above. Oh, I know I'm totally gaming the system, but hey, that's what it is. Okay, here's a leisure activity: fishing or hunting.
Neither.
Okay.
Although if you made me do one, it would be fishing. But I realized, I did actually a fair bit of fishing when I grew up on a boat. Hey, there's a story I could tell in a trivia section someday. Did you know I grew up on a boat, Ruel? We should talk about that someday.
Yeah, I think we have.
Oh, have we covered that?
You told me offline.
So, I don't know. It always drives me nuts. People say, oh, yeah, I fish, but don't worry. I always throw the fish back in. Really? You throw the fish back in with a big gouging wound in their cheek. You really made their day. They're so happy that just for your own fun and amusement, you decide, I just like fishing, but I throw them back in. It's like, gosh, that's just horrible. They're both terrible. I say neither. Cultured meats, petri dish meat. That's what I want. That's the future. I am counting the days until all of my meat consumption is that.
I look forward to the day when we could do petri meat. I have fished and I've hunted. I used to be a regular fisherman. I would go out, we would rent boats, but we would never do it for just to catch and release. We would actually catch our fish and eat them.
Well, that's the better thing to do. To me, it's catch and release. To me is kind of gross. It's just you could also call it fish torture. We're gonna go out and torture fish today.
That's right. But I still enjoy. I haven't gone in a while, but I do enjoy fishing. Let's go. A theme. Okay, here's a board game related one.
All right.
Theme: Train in the Mediterranean or medieval cities.
Ooh. Oh wow.
Okay.
I like both a lot. That's
a really.
What about you?
I'm gonna lean towards medieval cities,
Uh-huh.
just because building something, right? But then, oh man, trading in the Mediterranean. I mean, trading Mediterranean, immediately think of Concordia, one of the all-time
Of
greats.
course, yeah, and you would be right to do so. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really, I mean,
Oh,
they're both, in the same genre. It's just a mention of scale. Am I focusing on one city or am I focusing on the entire, Mediterranean? Because you could be doing
right.
similar things in both types of games.
Hmm.
I mean, based on my Malta background, I'm inclined to go train in the Mediterranean, but I bet you anything, if you did a quick survey of my top 100, I've got more city games than Mediterranean, so I'm probably going to go cities as well.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, we got a bunch now. Let's go
Okay, let's
fire
go.
off
We
one
got to
of
go,
these.
go, go.
All right. Roll and write or flip and write.
Roll.
Roll. I like dice better.
Yeah.
Okay. Next is permanent daylight saving or standard time.
What's the difference?
I was just gonna ask you the same thing. Isn't it the
Well,
same
okay.
thing?
No. Okay, what that means is either way, getting rid of the having to switch all the time. And
Uh-huh.
and the question is,
Oh.
okay, do we want to permanently be 1 hour ahead or normal? My answer is I don't care either. Just pick
Yeah.
one. I have seen
I-
thought pieces on this pointing out that look, both of them are compromises, neither of them are perfect, but just freaking pick one. This literally kills people every year. People die because of this stupid, antiquated system that only existed because of wartime profiteering garbage. Get rid of all of it.
Yeah, I agree. Just pick one and let's go with it.
Yeah.
Boom, done.
Oh,
Here
wartime
it
profiteering
is.
is unfair, but anyway.
Yeah. Oh shoot! I just deleted a bunch of these. My bad.
No!
Here we go. Dark chocolate or white chocolate?
White. Any
Dark.
day. Dark
Dark.
chocolate, or as I like to call it, sweetly flavored dirt. Dirt with a little bit of sugar thrown in, and a nice
I will say
barky
this.
aftertaste.
Those of us with more refined palates prefer dark chocolate.
My
funny?
house is awash in dark chocolate. Jen loves dark chocolate so much.
Okay.
And to me, it
Yeah.
all tastes like baking chocolate. Ugh. And I know, white chocolate is an anathema, but
Yeah.
I'm fond of it. I like the smooth creaminess of it.
Yeah, I was a white chocolate guy for years, but just over the last few years, my taste have changed to dark chocolate. Okay, ice cream or frozen yogurt?
Oh, ice cream.
Yeah, definitely ice cream. There's not even close, I think.
No compromise.
Yeah, yep, no compromise at all. Let's see. Tim asks, farming or trading?
Oh, as a theme.
That's the theme.
Well,
yeah.
trading, I assume that's just going to be more broad about, engaging in trade in the game, not trading between players. Economic
Right.
trade simulations as opposed to farming simulations. That's a
Yeah.
really interesting one. I think I'm more engaged in trading, even though, I love farming simulations, but I think of the two, I'd rather...
Yeah. Well, you said the exact thing. Like why I prefer trading is the engagement, right?
Yeah.
It's more, to me. It's more engaging.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with
farming's
farming.
fine. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I like
I love
farming.
a good farming
Yeah.
simulation, but if I had to
Yeah.
pick...
If you had to pick, vampires or werewolves?
Boy, I don't really care about either.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of a vampire or a werewolf that I actually care about in any pop culture, and then that will be the one I choose. Can you think of one?
Yeah. Well, obviously the big one's Dracula, and then the werewolf is what, Wolfman or whatever. For me, it's
Lost Boys, vampires.
okay. Lost Boys, vampires. I'm going with
Lost in
werewolves
the
because
shadows.
Teen Wolf, man. Teen Wolf. That's a wolf. Werewolf.
Yeah. I'll put
Okay.
I'll put early '80s Kiefer and Jason Patrick up against Michael J. Fox any day of the week. It's all about those Lost
Really?
Boys.
Oh,
yeah.
wait, okay. Maybe that's our argument. Michael J. Fox is the man. Come on, the 80s.
No,
he
in
ruled
general,
me.
if you want to take
He
their entire
ruled ye.
oeuvre, of course. I'm just talking about
Okay.
specifically Teen Wolf versus Lost Boys.
Okay, gotcha.
But
I'm
we're
okay
both.
with it.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Books or Kindle?
Boy, I wish I read enough to actually say.
Yeah.
Just because for the convenience factor. Actually, that's another story I could tell in a trivia segment. But I guess I'd go Kindle. And
Really?
the actual proper e-ink versions, not on your phone. The real it literally does hydrostatic stuff and rearranges the ink on a screen, so you're actually looking at real ink, not a screen.
Okay. I'm going books. I'm old school. Give me
Nothing
the
wrong with
books.
that.
Yep. And so, related question here: books or movies?
Oh, if you'd said books or TV, then I'd have a hard time.
Yeah.
But I am losing so much interest in movies in general. It is harder and harder and harder to find a movie I actually enjoy.
Yeah.
Period. I
Yeah.
think I'd actually go books. And
I think
with a bitter tinge of regret because I never get to read any.
Yeah, I think I'm the same way. I'm moving more towards books, but yeah, if it was between TV, I mean, there's just so many great series now
Yeah.
that I might have picked TV. Here's another one: spicy. Whoops, come on now. Spiciness or sweetness?
Sweetness. I've got the biggest sweet tooth in the universe. I am such a sugar
Ah,
addict. It's
wow.
unhealthy, quite frankly.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that. I'm more of a spicy guy, but yeah, I would. But the thing is, my tolerance for spiciness has been waning as I get older, so I need to be careful of that. This one, I have no idea what to answer this. Red or blue Doritos?
Red.
Is there a
No, blue.
red? Is the
I
original?
assume they taste
right?
the same, right? It's just aesthetic.
Oh no, blue is the Cool Ranch, and then red is the original.
No, red then. Red. Definitely.
Red, yeah,
Yep.
red for sure. Let's see. We have one from Softening Razor: drive or fly?
If you have to travel somewhere?
Yeah,
I was going to say fly, of course, but everything about flying is miserable and awful. Except for the time it takes.
It's one of those questions for me. Like, it depends. Where are we going? Like, if it's within like a 5-hour
No, you
drive,
have to pick
I'd rather
one.
drive.
There's no you pick one. This is not like your
Fly.
weird stacking
Fly.
behavior that you've revealed to everybody.
I gotta fly. Fly is so convenient.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I
as
know
much as I hate it, being a 6'3"
Yeah.
guy. Yeah.
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 Like, and how are you gonna go across the ocean on a car, right? Let's see.
The
Is that
glorious
it?
golden
Come on.
age of passenger trains with personal bunks. I'd probably take that over both. But
Ooh, I love traveling by train.
yep.
Multiplayer solitaire or positive player interaction?
Well, the latter, of course. I mean, if I can interact with my wife in a positive way, I'd like to do that.
Yeah. But now, see, I would definitely choose positive player interaction. But I have no problem with multiplayer solitaire games.
I have
I'm
a
fine
micro
with it.
badge on my character on Board Game Geek that says multiplayer solitaire fan.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Now we can't keep doing
no,
this. We have a lot of other stuff to do. We could literally do this for 2 hours.
Yeah, let's move on here. So let's consider that done. Thank you for the this and that, folks.
Yeah.
Or
Oh
this
yeah.
or
And
that.
that one doesn't get requested as often, but that's one of my favorites. Okay. Next
Yeah,
up,
I
it
like
is
that.
time for Ruel to rank a game. Let's see how many Ruel we have. We have 2 Ruel rank requests in the queue, so let's do both of them. I'm going to mark both of those as complete, and that means I've got to bring up the Gaviola library. What is it? Gaviolalibrary.rahdo.com. There it is, and then I got to bring us to the browser view. And let's see. All right. Okay. This is sorted by what you've actually rated. Let's scroll down a bit. Okay, this is all right. So here we go. You see any of those you want to rate?
You
need them a bit
continue
bigger.
down further. Yeah.
Or actually, you know what you want? You want them nice and box looking. There we go. Let's do that.
Oh yeah.
Big pictures. And then we just got to scroll down past all the stuff you've rated. Maybe on page 2, we'll get to some new stuff. And are you going to page 2? All right, there we are. Okay. So, you want to rate any of those?
Ooh, okay. Let's see.
And I will prepare the
let's do The Princess Bride, since it's an 80s movie. We'll do Princess Bride. Princess Bride or Lost Boys? I'm definitely going Princess Bride on that
for the Princess Bride.
Okay.
Right. And Lost Boys is on here? Oh no, you're just
I was
parallel,
kidding.
of course. Yes, fair enough.
Yeah, just joking.
Well, as you wish. All right. What else?
Nice. Truffle Shuffle.
That's a good one. All right. Well, any more of these? You want to go up another page?
Let's go up a little more there. Schottenton. We got to get the good doctor on there.
Schotten, so the people can ignore it once again, like they do every time.
I know, right? I don't know why I pick them. Okay.
Any more?
Let's go up one more. I want to save some of these for next time.
All right, up a bit more.
We're gonna pick 2 of them, right?
Yeah. You need 2 more.
Okay. 2 more. Okay. 2 more. Let's do Las Vegas Royale.
Las Vegas Royale. And
let's go up a page, please.
Last one. Pick one more.
I'm not going to pick another Ryder Knizia. Don't worry, folks.
All right.
Ooh, Raiders of Scythia.
All right, well, we talked about that
thought
not
I
too
ranked
long
that.
ago.
Okay.
SCYTHIA. All righty, folks,
Yeah,
start
okay.
voting. Vote your conscience. So we're going to take the top two, and we're going to do a little mini review of these, and we'll see what it goes, depending on what you choose. You have 2 minutes. You can use channel points to juice the stats, or juke the stats. You can also use bits to juke the stats if you would like to engage in some proper bribery. Let's see.
Which I'm going to do right now. I'm casting my vote, and I'm bribing.
I do not have an option, so I just have to... Oh, and what? No love for Truffle Shuffle. Well, it's got my vote.
You know which one I'm juking right now? I just spent 100 of my channel points.
Oh, my.
Yep.
Well, makes things happen. We've
on.
got a regular Tammany Hall going on here, it would appear.
Oh, really? I thought Truffle Shuffle would get a few more votes than that.
I would have thought so.
Wow.
I mean, with all the love for Cascadia. But I guess people
Right?
just don't know that it's the Molly Johnson, Stankiewicz, and who's
Shauna,
the third?
yeah, right. I forget the other person.
Oh, look, we've shamed them into choosing Shot and Totten. It's currently
There you
leading.
go.
Or no, you
Yes.
did that, I'm sure.
I did it.
Folks, you have to overcome his obsession with the good doctor design Reiner Knizia. But
Yes.
time is running out.
I thought Raiders of Scythia would get more love too.
You'd think
that's
so.
interesting.
Again.
Yeah, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess if it was Raiders of the North Sea, it would, but go figure.
Yeah, yeah. Las Vegas Royale No Love. I love that game. Come on, folks. That one would have been easy to rank. I think very highly of that. I got 20 seconds, friends.
Well, perhaps
Don't
you
forget
should have
to use
thrown
your
all your
points.
ill-gotten channel points on that instead.
Ill-gotten channel points. Oh my goodness. Well, it looks like the Princess Bride's got a good shot at this, so that's nice. Another way to work in an '80s movie reference for us.
Yep. We definitely need more of that in our life. All right, how's it going?
Okay, who do we got?
Princess Bride, Shot and Totten tied for
Perfect.
first place, both
Perfect.
with 61 total votes. Then, so let it be written, so let it be done, as you wish, and all the rest of it.
Wow.
All right, let's see. So let me go. Where was right? Princess. Let's go with that one first.
All right.
If I can
Princess
find
Bride.
the
Have you played
Princess
this
on
one?
this page? Control find Princess. There we go. The Princess Bride adventure book game from Ravensburger. Yeah, tell us all about it, Ruel.
This is.
I'm pretty sure you
wonderful...
filmed this on your channel, haven't you? You
I
this with
did.
Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle and I played it on our channel. We also streamed it for Gen Con back in the day. Gen Con had us on. Yeah, and we did a sponsor stream for Ravensburger. It's a wonderful game. As you can see, it literally is a book. That board is just like what are they like? I was thinking Quirky Circuits, where you're gonna change the board by turning the page. What this does so well, it captures the movie so well. Like one chapter is the beginning, hey, farm boy, as you wish. And then you turn the page, you go to the next one, and then you have the Dread Pirate Roberts chasing him on the sea. Then you turn the next page, and is the epic sword fight between Inigo and the Dread Pirate Roberts.
Right.
You have all those scenes. And the game itself, it's a pretty straightforward pick up and deliver game.
Really?
But it's neat because
on every page.
On every page, but it's different each page. One, like it starts very simple. You have to get certain items to the princess in her, in the like log cabin or whatever she's at. Then you go to the next one and you're trying to collect certain. It's like set collection and pick up and deliver. So you go to the next page when you're fighting. And you have to get the characters in perfect position. It's a wonderful game for fans of the movie. Michelle and I absolutely adore this game, and as you can see, the miniatures. Oh, someone actually painted it.
Wow, that's a nice painting job somebody did.
Those are fantastic, yeah. But the miniatures are great, even unpainted. I mean, you can totally tell what characters they are. You see all. I mean, it's got Andre the Giant, folks. Come on, you're going with Fezzik. I mean, it's beautiful. So I would rate this more of like a gateway-ish style game. And if you're a fan of the movie, I think it's a must get. We have it in our collection because we love this movie so much.
But how is the replayability, right? I mean, does it really change that much? I mean, the movie itself doesn't change.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why I'd recommend it more for fans of the movie, because if you're really in the movie, you're going to find this really satisfying because you can play, your favorite chapter. You don't have to, you can play the entire game, which is all 6 chapters, I believe.
Yeah.
But each chapter takes like maybe 20 to 30 minutes. So you can just focus on the chapter you'd like. Then there's, as you can see there on the video that you're showing there, they're on the boat right there trying to outrun the Dread Pirate Roberts. Wonderful little game. Again, it's not heavy or complex, but it does have some nice, really nice touches as far as pick up and deliver and set collection.
Okay.
So in my world of ranking, I'm going to give it, it's a rock solid 7.16.
7.16. All right,
7.16.
that's now okay. Here's the real. I'm going to be a stinker and ask you if it was a generic fairy tale setting, same gameplay, same sense of humor, but just not tied to your teen years. What would it come in as?
Definitely lower than 7.16.
Okay, you'll leave it at that. All right.
Yeah, I'll leave. I can't give it a number because it's the game's already so tied into my imagination with the movie that we're gonna stick with lower than 7.16. It was generic, but 7.16 because it's Princess Bride.
But again, that's part of its strength because it does such a great job of evoking the subject matter. I mean, an exemplary job. I mean, to me, I haven't played it, but I have read the rules and I've looked into it, and I was really, because I love the movie too. But ultimately, I thought, well, gosh, it kind of feels like they sacrifice gameplay to just make this storytelling work. But again, I appreciate it's not for me. It's not for a hardcore gamer geek. It is for families who love the movie, and I'm sure it does that great.
Yeah, and that's I totally agree with that. That's totally fair. If you're looking for a hardcore game, this is not going to be satisfy the hardcore gamers out there. But as far as Princess Bride fans, folks, I would recommend it.
Right. What was the other one? It was Schottentotten, right?
Schottentotten, yes.
Which apparently I don't know how to spell Totten. Oh, because it's a German word, of course. All right. So Schottentotten, or Battle Line with cute art, as it's also known. Right?
That's right. What? Now, did this come first, or was it Battle? I thought this
was
first.
I am positive this came first. First you had Schottentotten, and the original Schottentotten was much more straightforward. It was just about playing the straights on your side of the different... Oh, she's excited. I'm sure she does not want that picture
I'm sure she loves seeing herself on the internet there.
Yeah. But I mean, it certainly caught the moment. As I understand, the original game was just much more straightforward, and then Battle Line came out, rethemed it to be, warring Roman armies, and then they added all of the extra little special powers and stuff like that. And then those retroactively got put back in the more modern Schottentottens that are available. I think that is correct.
Yeah, and I think you're right as well. And folks, this is a two-player game from probably my favorite designer of all time, Reiner Knizia. I love the fact that he creates so many. I mean, he's created over 600, 700 games. It's crazy.
Wow, look at this Polish version. Have you seen this?
Isn't that cool? Look at that.
Wow.
The art. Yeah.
This is not what you will get unless you're in Poland. Wow.
That is awesome. Oh, look at that bear. Oh my gosh, that is super cool.
Why isn't this a standard worldwide? Jeez,
seriously.
Those are some vicious animals. Anyway, though, but sorry, that's just okay, there's lots of different versions with different art, but what about the gameplay, Ruel?
Yeah, the game is fantastic. It's a two-player game. Think Lost Cities. You're going up against another player, and you're playing, like you'd mentioned this, straights and basically mini poker hands, right? You can have pairs, you can have straights, and you can have suits, and you're battling over control of each little area, and the first to control, I think it's 3 areas, or 5 areas.
I think it's 3 of the however many there are.
Yeah, okay. So whoever does that first will win the game. It's not one of the, I mean, it's a battle game, right?
Yeah.
So, but what really elevates it is, like you were saying, those special powers, right? Which are actually taken out in Schottentotten. You can just play the standard game without those, and you're just playing, little straights and flushes and whatnot. But then you add those powers in, that really ramps it up. It's one of those games that ranks so highly with me. I love his like Lost Cities. I think this one's got a little more going on than Lost Cities, whereas Lost Cities, you're just, you're pushing your luck trying to figure out what numbers you want to play. This one, you got a little more strategy because you have a hand of cards and you can figure out, okay, I'm going to play this one here. You have different areas that you can play. So, and as I'm saying that, it does sort of remind me of Lost Cities in that sense, because you do have, choices to make. And what makes this, like any other Knizia game, what makes this so brilliant, folks, is that low rules overhead. Mm-hmm. It's like a couple of pages of rules, and yet the depth of strategy as you play it, you're gonna say, wow, there's a lot more here than I thought. And that's what I love about Knizia games. That's why I'm giving Schottentotten a very, very solid. I just said rock solid for the other game, so I'm gonna say this is a very awesome 7.93.
7.93?
Yeah.
What does this have to do to crash into 8 territory for you? Many
Okay,
people would be very right to argue this is his greatest design of all time.
Wow.
I mean,
you know
I'm not making that argument myself. It's certainly not my favorite,
yeah.
but I
Yeah.
would respect an argument made along those lines because it is so perfect. It is so flawless.
Well, here's the thing. I keep talking about Lost Cities. I rank Lost Cities above this. So
Yeah.
Lost Cities is definitely an 8 for me, if not higher. And this one, oh man, why? You know what? If I had that Polish version, I think it's pushing it to an 8.
If there's anybody out there listening who has access to that Polish version, Ruel,
Yeah.
and who wants to see his ranking go up to an 8, you know what you need to do, apparently.
Yeah, because like the version that Yellow puts out now, it's got. I mean, I guess they're like cute little chickens or something, which just sort of strange to me.
Yeah, I
don't know.
think this is the new. I think this is the updated one.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but give me that Polish version for at least an 8, folks. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, both really. I mean, I really enjoy this game. But Lost Cities has got just a little. I think Lost Cities is just a little more streamlined than this one.
Oh, it is definitely. Yeah. I mean, I would rather play Lost Cities over this myself.
A great game from a good doctor, folks.
I have to admit, both of these games don't really work for me because my head just explodes trying
Richard,
to play them.
I do not hear you.
You do not hear me.
No volume.
Hold on a second.
No mic.
Oh wow. No, you should hear me.
I don't know if
you should
folks in chat. Can you verify?
Audience. Is it Ruel or is it me?
Because I can't hear him.
There's nothing worth hearing anyway. Apparently.
Okay. My headphones are working. We hear both of you.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
What happened to you, buddy?
I don't hear you on my end.
Are your ear? Are they dead?
Okay, now I hear you.
Are your headphones going dead? Have you not recharged your what's-jigs?
Well, that was weird. Now I can hear you. I didn't hear you for like a minute there.
That's
strange.
funky doodle. All right.
Yeah.
Well.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, it's glad you did dropped out because that's when I was saying, oh my god, what an idiot! Can you believe this guy? But no, my problem with both this and Lost Cities, I think they're both brilliant designs. I mean, I would label both of them high 8s in terms of their quality.
Oh, wow.
Maybe close to 9s, close to perfection. But for both of these games, I just can't play them. They just make my brain explode. And I've played Lost Cities with Jen dozens of times. I think I've only ever won once. And Battle, we played Battleline. We never played Shot and Totten, but I had the same kind of problem. Jen just walks all over me, and these games make me feel so stupid, so epically just foolish and dumb that I just can't stand playing them. But it's not you, Shot and Totten and Lost Cities. It's me. Okay. Cool. So that was 2 Ruel Ranks for the price of 1. Hey, man, if we can just get everything that was asked for last week, I think we'd be doing pretty good. So we need to do a top 3. Audience, start suggesting topics that we can do a flash on the spot top 3 greatest of all time. We need your help, folks. Start throwing up in the chat, and Ruel will tell me which ones he likes, and I will turn them into a poll, and then we will come up with the greatest 3 whatevers.
Okay.
What's the top 3 to be? All right.
Okay. Kabuki Kid right off the bat says the top 10 or top 70s TV shows. Interesting.
All right. Oh yeah, that was we were both kind of fond of that one.
Yeah.
Oh, because we already did
Star
most
Wars
important
movies.
70s TV shows, but we didn't do
That's
favorite.
Right.
Yeah. What else?
Yep. Top 3 game designers.
Game designers. Okay.
We had top 3 Star Wars movies. I feel like we've talked enough Star Wars on this channel, I think. Yeah.
I'll do it though. I'll do it.
Okay. I mean, I'll do it as well. So
well, I mean, they can choose. They can choose if they've had enough.
They'll choose. Okay.
2 more.
Top 3 non-designer mass market games. Oh, interesting.
Ooh. Okay.
I like that one.
Yeah. All right. So mass market board games. All right. And last one.
How much? Let's see what this one says. Top 3 pre-20th century games.
We already have mass market games. So many of the mass markets are pre-20th century. Let's save that one for a future time.
Okay. Top 3. Well, we could do something wacky with top 3 ice cream flavors. Have we done that one before?
No, but people keep asking.
That we might have to put that on the list.
All right. Okay, it's on the list. Okay, folks, 2 minutes. Start voting. It's going to be We're gonna give you the definitive, write it in stone, in a stone tablet, and put it on the state capitol, because it will never be. Let's see. You know what? I think it is time for me to finally move this poll thing a little bit over, because you're in the center. I am not. I can afford it to scooch over to me a little bit. Let's see. Where does that exist? How do I do that? While they're voting, I think it's going to be over here in the alert thing, isn't it? Yes. Okay. So I need to go to the alerts. And then I need to, what is this? It's, not goals, scrolling text, Discord. Where are you? Poll. There it is, poll. Unlock it. And you can scooch, can't you? Here we go. Scoochie. There we go. Ever so slightly off center. People can see your beautiful mug.
Yay.
Because you just can't be bothered to move your head 6 inches to the left. Which I think is more adorable myself. But anyway. All right, so the poll has definitely encroached into my zone. How's the voting going?
Mass market board games has got a slight lead. We've got the top 70s TV shows. I'm surprised Star Wars movies aren't getting any love. But
well, there you go. Somebody wanted it, and most people don't.
Yeah. Game designers is creeping up. Ice cream flavors. I didn't think.
Oh, I said ice flavors. I'm sorry, that's ice cream flavors. That's a typo on my part. What flavors of ice? Well, I like water, and
water flavor's good. That's pretty much my list.
I hate saltwater ice. Oh, I can't stand that.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, mass market games. Now, I think mass market is going to win, or the top 70s TV shows. Ooh. Is that creeping up now?
Did Kabuki Kid request top 70s TV shows? I bet she did.
I think they did, yeah. Yep. Okay. About almost 10 seconds left, folks. Here we go. Mass market game. Now, oh gosh. What are mass market board games?
Is that it? Did it do it? Did it come?
It's right. I think it's going to win. It's got 2 seconds
there
left,
we go.
And it is
35%. Game designers at number 2. Top TV shows number 3. All right. Well, honestly, this isn't too terribly hard. There are so many crap garbage ones, right?
Yeah.
First of all, there is no denying. I mean, certainly the most important one as far as I'm concerned, and the one, if I had to play one, classic from the 40s, 50s, 70s, whatever, just standard shelf fare at Toys R Us for both of the entirety of our childhoods, it's going to be Yahtzee, of course.
Oh, wow. That's exactly what I was thinking too.
Of course.
Yahtzee is the one.
Yeah, wow. Yahtzee is the one. We would not have the roll and write explosion today if it wasn't for Yahtzee, the original roll and write. And it's a roll and write that holds up. I wish it had a theme. It surely, of course, it doesn't, and that's too bad. But as far as abstract roll and writes go, it's pretty good. So,
and
what else?
It's so influential, right?
I know.
Not only the roll and write genre.
Yeah, not just the roll and write
thing.
genre. Roll, reroll shows up in lots of games.
Yes. King of Tokyo, the classic one that borrowed that mechanism. So
no two ways about it.
Great
Yahtzee
choice.
is the easy number
Definitely number one.
Then we get into the harder ones.
Oh man.
Let's see. And I feel like it's cheating to say chess or checkers. I mean, because I think they did say like mass market games as opposed to classic games. That was what the other question was. Pre 20th century.
Pre 20th century. Yeah.
So I would leave out backgammons or those kinds of things.
Right.
Things that were made by Parker Brothers or Milton Bradley to make money, not things that just evolved alongside of humanity. So
now I would put this out there. I'm not a fan of the game personally.
Yeah.
But I know that it's had a lot of influence. Axis and Allies. That's
I've never played it. Here's the deal. Is it good? Yahtzee stands up. Yahtzee stands up to everything that's available today. To me, I want to put things on that maybe people say, oh yeah, I never play a game pre-2010. Like, have you tried this one? Oh, that's really good. So what I think I was going to say the Sid Saxon ones, Acquire and whatnot. But did Acquire was Acquire ever for sale at a Kmart in the 70s? Probably not.
That's the thing. Yeah, probably not. It's something like Can't Stop, which I still think holds up. But I don't think that was available mass market, was it?
That's a good question. If it was, it should totally make this list.
Yeah, he was so ahead of his time, as a designer. I mean, but
I'm looking at the chat. Kabuki Kid is seconding Can't Stop as she believes mass market. I think so. I think that was something you could pretty much buy any place.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I think the version that I have might be a Parker Brothers version.
There you go. Can't Stop. Number
Okay.
2. We
Can't
just
stop,
need
folks.
one
There it
more
is.
for the greatest
Yeah.
mass market, Milton Bradley, Parker Brothers-esque style game that is out there. I did see somebody mention Quirkle, which is probably as close as we get in the last 10 years to that
Yeah.
genre.
Wow.
And Quirkle's very
it's-
good.
I think Michelle and I literally just played it 2 weekends ago. We went out to the beach, had a nice seafood lunch, and when we're there on the beach, we had our copy of Quirkle and we played it right there. And a couple of people came up, was like, "Oh my gosh, what's that game?" And it took me 2 minutes
Yeah,
to explain
Quirkle
it.
just works.
It's so good. Wow, I'd get behind
I
Quirkle.
think it's hard to argue against that. Now,
Yeah,
I do see somebody points out by now, Ticket to Ride is mass market.
Yeah.
And if you
See,
want,
that's what I was
if
wondering
you want to
too.
admit that, then I think you have to say Ticket to Ride.
If you're gonna
But it
admit
doesn't
that,
feel
and-
mass market to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could go to any Target in the nation and pick up a copy of Ticket to Ride, right?
Scott O'Brien says, "What? No love for Scrabble? Come on,
Oh
Wordheads."
gosh, wait, yeah.
No,
you know what?
no
Okay,
love
that's
for
gotta be on
Scrabble
my
for
list.
me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
big,
Scrabble
big-
has been so eclipsed by its children and its grandchildren.
Yeah.
Ever since Paperback came out and made everything. Oh, you can do something spelling words other than Scrabble. I will never play Scrabble again.
Yeah. Oh, but
Although
here's the
Scrabble,
thing,
one of the early tile laying area majority games, area control games.
Yeah. Right? and a spelling game as well. And I mean, to this day, they still have Scrabble
of
national
course.
and world championships.
Yep.
So it's
I don't know.
It's
I would
still-
dismiss Scrabble just because it allows 2-letter words.
Okay.
It's
fair.
broken. I say Scrabble is broken. Who designed this? Does anybody even know who
Oh,
designed
it's
it?
funny. Whenever Michelle and I play, she hates when I play those 2-letter words.
I know.
Like, she'll come up-
It should just be disallowed.
Yeah, she'll come up with this awesome, 8-letter word or bingo or whatever, and I'll come into my little words and get all the triple and double letters. Yeah, she hates that.
With the S on the triple.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the one I always use is QI, like chi.
Oh, you're a Scrabble jerk, is what you are.
I'm one of those jerks. I am
Nobody
a
wants to
Scrabble
play with
jerk.
Scrabble with you, and Scrabble lets it happen. You're just playing to the rules, so that's why Scrabble
Yes.
is a hard pass for me.
One I would like to mention, and I think this is probably mass market now. Goblin says Magic the Gathering.
Of course it is. It is. There's nothing more mass market than that.
Yeah. Wow.
I would, if you want to put it on there. I mean, honestly, like Scrabble, I think Magic the Gathering has been it is so ancient and clunky in terms of its design. I don't think it holds up compared to everything that has come after it. I mean, we've got a dozen games on my channel that owe their inspiration to Magic, that do Magic so much better than Magic, and Magic is just grandfathered in. So if you want to put it on, I'll be fine with it. But
well, what's our list so far? We have Yahtzee, which still holds up today.
We have
Can't Stop.
We have Yahtzee Can't Stop, and we're considering Quirkle. We were considering Ticket to Ride.
Oh gosh, man, that's.
I mean, I honestly, I think it's hard to top Ticket to Ride. Ticket to Ride is perfect and flawless.
Yeah, and it's the game that got me into the hobby. So
really? Well, then okay, there you go.
Well, actually, no. I take that back. So the game that got my family and myself into the hobby. I got into the hobby a few months before my family did when I played Pandemic.
I was just going to say, is Pandemic mass market yet? I'm not going to say it quite is.
I don't think it is.
Yeah. I mean, I think you probably could argue that it is.
Yeah.
But
I think that's a good list. Yahtzee, Can't Stop,
definitive,
Ticket to Ride.
Untouchable. Ticket to Ride, Can't Stop, and the number one greatest classic mass market game.
Cool.
Yahtzee. Cool. I believe in that. I will fight somebody over that.
Wow.
Alrighty, cool.
Fidelia, I got to highlight Fidelia's comment. They brought a great comment here. It's going to go up right here. Rahdo, would you be in this business if you hadn't been looking for a travel Scrabble?
Oh!
Look at that. I like that.
That is a really good question.
Yep.
I would like to think yes. I would like to think even if I hadn't just by complete total random happenstance stumbled across Modern Designer board games when I was looking for Travel Scrabble. Obviously, Fidelia has heard the story. I think sooner or later, within the next year, I would have noticed, hey, what's everybody doing in the lunchroom every day? I mean, still,
Okay.
3/4 of the company is just playing, either MOBAs or 3D shooters or in their lunch break. But what are you guys doing? Oh, I thought you were maybe playing poker or something. What is that? That's a very colorful thing. Can I play? I think it would have happened eventually anyway. I think.
But that's such a great question because, all of a sudden the timelines change, right? You don't get into the hobby that moment. Maybe a year later, you get into the hobby, but you don't start creating content, So.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
The knock-on effects for that question are huge.
Yeah. Wow. Great question.
Yep, that is a good point. But I'll still stand by it. All right, so what is next? What is next? If we can just finish last week's, that would be great. Oh, this is a quick one, and this one is for you. Forest of Glass asks, and this one, no. This is, I thought it was a game one. Forest of Glass asks, there can be only one Ruel. National and state parks or city and county parks?
Wow.
If our tax dollars are only going to go towards maintaining one of those, which means the other ones will eventually disappear due to human avarice, what's more important?
Man.
That's a tough one.
Oh, this is tough. Oh my gosh. I visit both, I don't visit the national ones only because they're not as close,
of course,
obviously, as the city or state, but oh my goodness.
Which means
gracious.
arguably the city and county ones have more of a day-to-day impact on the quality of people's lives. What's a city
that's
without
the one I'm
parks?
leaning towards.
Yeah.
But then, you go somewhere like Yellowstone National Park. I mean, that have you ever been up to Yellowstone? It's just
no,
stunning.
but I've been to other amazing national parks. What's it? The red something or other in Arizona. The Grand Canyon, of course, is a national
Grand Canyon.
park.
Zion National Park.
So I've been to enough national parks. I've just never made it to Yellowstone, and I would love to go someday.
Yeah.
But okay, would you sacrifice city parks in every city, county parks in every county to ensure Yellowstone and whatnot, are not ultimately sold to fossil fuel companies?
This is such a brutal
That's a
one.
monster
thank
question,
you,
Forest of Glass. Are you even here? Yes, Forest of Glass is here, and I'm sure he's cackling to himself. I screwed them to the sticking place, he says.
Given a choice, because of the day-to-day impact, I would have to keep the state and national parks because they serve, they're just closer to people. Population, it's going to serve, more peoples. But I hate the fact I can think in my mind I hate losing like a Grand Canyon National Park.
I mean, fortunately, that's not going to happen. But
but still,
we'll never find anything to argue about because I think I'd have to agree.
Okay.
I mean, the reality is, humanity's future is, come back in 1,000 years, the planet Earth will literally be Coruscant from Star Wars. It will be from stem to stern. Every square inch of this planet is going to be city. In if not 1,000 years, 2,000 or 3,000 years. And so long term, we are still going to need those respites from the world we're building for ourselves. That is inevitable. I would not want to give that up.
Same.
And that sucks. You're a monster, Forest of Glass. You're a monster.
Seriously,
and he posted cackles indeed, and he gave a robot smiley. That was a good one though. That was a good one. I'd be curious. I look forward to reading the chat afterwards so the audience can say if we were right or not. Okay. And then we have one more from last week, a Trivial Pursuit. So that means we were caught up last week. We're not doing any for this week because we have to do the show too, but we were far behind. So let me pull up.
We've been here almost an hour. Oh my gosh.
I know. Well, that was a lot of stuff. We just did a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And we still haven't done the giveaway yet. We still got to do that too. All right. So give me the wheel. And then give me the button to spin the wheel. And I think I know which way this wheel of spin is going to go, as you can see. Because somebody has been avoiding their trivial duties for a while.
Yep, and let me get my trivia ready here. I would laugh if it lands on you. It's going to land
Nope. Well, that was close. That was close.
Close.
But, Ruel, tell us something about yourself. Do you have anything? Do you need hints like I need? Or you have something?
I've got it here. Hey, Rahdo, did you know I've played in more than one board game cafe in the Philippines?
No, I didn't. Really?
Yeah, I've played in 4 different cafes in the Philippines.
4 unique board game cafes. So, are those all in major cities? We're all in the same city? What is the board game scene like in the Philippines?
Yeah, there's a big scene in Manila, which is the capital of the Philippines, of course. And it's very I would call it like a almost like a very it's a thriving scene. It's more war games, which was interesting to me. But there are board game cafes there. I've been to two of them there. But then I've also been to a board game cafe in Cebu, which is one of the other islands. There's 7,000 islands in the Philippines, folks. Over
Yeah.
7,000. So I've only done four. I've got a long way to go. And then there's also another one in Baguio, which is where my father is from, which I thought was really cool. I visited them a couple of years ago. They had their 50th wedding anniversary out there, and while I was there, I just happened to go on Google and find, oh my gosh, there's a board game cafe here. So I had to go, and it was great. It was like it was totally off the beaten path, and I had to go down these stairs, and it was sort of dark. And I was like, oh, is this sort of shady? And
Wow.
but then I walk in, yeah, I walk in. They've got video games, big old screens, video games, all the latest and greatest, and they had copies. The library was small, but I played Splendor with
Okay.
the customer service rep, and it was so cool. So I didn't know they had a scene out there. I mean, I had a little inkling of what they had out there, but it turns out they have a lot of board game cafes there, more than I expected, and they were
Wow.
great. The ones in Manila, the capital, were fantastic. They were huge, and they not only was it a board game cafe, but they also had retail sections attached to it, so you could buy games there. And I actually ended up buying a couple of local games from local designers
Ooh.
and brought them home, which were really neat. It was really
That is
cool.
very cool. That is, I mean, honestly, if you'd asked me, I would have assumed no, that would not be one of the locales in the world that has a thriving board game scene.
Yeah, it was. I was very impressed. And again, one I do want to shout out one of the gentlemen there. He had brought me a play called Table Taft over there in the Taft section of Manila. He brought me over there. They had fantastic food. They had a lot of games, but they had just this one shelf of all local games that designers had
Wow.
designed. And yeah, it was so cool to see. Not all of them worked for me. They demoed a few of them, but I brought three of them home.
How
But
are you on the
some of the other
language?
ones,
Could you read them, or I don't know if you
I
can
can
speak the
I
language, or because
no, and so the main language there, besides English, is Tagalog, and my Tagalog is terrible.
okay.
I basically know enough Tagalog when like my mom is yelling at me. That's pretty much it. But it's I can sort of get by with some of it, but the games that I brought home were stuff like it's basically like a trick taking game, which is
Okay.
language independent,
Sure. Sure. Sure.
which is really neat. And then another one that was sort of like a love letter ripoff, but it was fun. And so yeah, I played board games in 4 different cafes in the Philippines, my friend.
Wow. No, that's fantastic. That's very
Thanks.
cool. That's
All
not
right.
really about you so much,
Yeah.
but still, we'll allow it because that was really fascinating. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we have done it. We have now finished our job from last week. And
Whew.
meanwhile, we have 5 outstanding things here, but we can wait no longer. We have to give away a copy of Decorum to one
Yeah.
lucky winner, and then we got to start filming the show. Okay,
All right.
so let me bring up the browser. There's the big old wheel. TJ Bailey, you squeezed in at the last second. It was past the
Lucky.
deadline, but they wrote an email and said, "Look, I'm a Patreon subscriber and I'm subscribed on Twitch. Come on!" And I'm like, "Okay." So I typed TJ in here manually instead of copying and pasting with everybody else. Let's shuffle everybody up a bit and then spin. One copy of the excellent Decorum coming somebody's way.
Good luck, everybody. Who we got?
Aaron Mostrom.
All right.
Congratulations, Aaron. Okay. I hope you enjoy it. I forget, we didn't play it. You didn't play it with me at Dice Tower West, did you?
Decorum, no. I played with Ian from Floodgate and a couple
Oh,
other
okay,
people.
yeah. So you did play it too. Yes. Yep. Such a
Yeah.
great game. Really, really fun.
It is. We actually tried one of like super hard scenarios, and it was tough.
Yes.
Man, it was brutal.
Yeah.
But,
Good stuff.
Yeah, fun game. I really think it's going to be a hit for them.
Okay. Well, last thing before we get going, we need to come up with a secret word. What is the secret word for this show, audience?
Ooh,
What are your
yeah.
suggestions?
All right, folks, put in there. Secret word. Duck of Death has a good one. Yahtzee.
Yahtzee. Let's see here.
Yahtzee. Can I do Yahtzee?
The thing is, if you can do Yahtzee, it's probably because you have a dice rolling game and you can talk about it.
Yeah.
People just look at the list and say, "Oh, well, that's obviously the one where they talk about Yahtzee."
Yeah.
We have had that in
yeah.
the past where we do it so obvious, and I get some things that are obvious. Just, well, I didn't actually watch the show. I'm just guessing this is what it is. So we should try to avoid those.
Okay. Can we do Knizia? I mean, I could work in Knizia in almost any conversation, I think, but
Well, if you want to take that challenge on.
Uh, I mean, look at my games.
I mean, are any of these particular games Knizia-esque?
That's what I'm trying to think of. Maybe. Now let's try another one. Let's see. Kabuki says ice cream.
Ice cream got no love, as I recall. Although that's because I said top 10 ice flavors.
Or Nazgoth says mass market. Ooh.
Mass market.
Mass market.
I could do mass market.
Could you?
I could do that.
Okay, yeah.
All right, that's it then.
I think I could. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
no.
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you've done the last few, I think. Oh, speaking of which, you did last week's, and we've said we're going to start revealing. Last week was purple, which was in Birds of Feather. What was it?
Yep. Yeah, it was. I was talking about the different colors of the birds' feathers, and I literally said you could have a blue, green, and then I do my little pause.
Do it. Act it out again. Tell us how you would do it.
So it would be like, oh, so you have the feathers that could be blue, green, or purple, and then I would.
That's not that much of a pause, man.
No,
you were bigging it up. I would say, oh, you could be blue or green or purple. But now that's something that's going to stand out.
Yeah, but I want to make them work for it a little bit, you know.
Well, I will not wink when I say mass market during my list.
Okay. Okay, cool. So you got mass market, perfect. So that's
I think I've got it there. Folks. So that's cool. All right, now I'm gonna need this. All right, which one is that? That is my. Is it this one? Where is it on this list? It is that one. All right, so it's there. All right, cool. How can I make it so that I don't miss this? Because I'm doing things in a new way. If I do this, I think that.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to test the little banner thing here. I want to make sure it's.
Test make sure the banner's still working.
Yeah. Come on. Yes. Okay, it's still working.
All right. Cool. So you're going to take on. What are we at? We're number 60, right? This is 60 to 51.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Then it's time to do the show. We've got what's on the table. Oh, let me confirm that my overhead camera hasn't crashed. Let's see here. First of all, let's confirm the browser is still good. Yep, this is. I have pasted in the bit.ly link, but I have not pressed enter yet, so I don't know what your number 60 is. And is my overhead okay? Yes, it is.
Oh, good.
And okay, we're good to go. Let's see. And right, is our sponsor logo there? Fire in the Hole. Yep, there it is. So it's our first animated sponsor GIF.
Nice.
Which
look at that.
Yeah, look at that. We're all professional and stuff. Okay.
Wow.
So then I think we're ready. Oh, but no. We must battle. First, we must fight.
Yes.
All right, so
fight.
Battle Royale. Boom. And the Battle Royale is starting. Right. And let's just go ahead and move that in the back. People can fight in front of it. Oh, I failed at doing that, though. It should be in front. All right. Okay, we just need to hide the banner then by putting in a blank line. Hurry before the fight starts! Oh, no! There we go. Don't.
Get ready, folks.
Okay. Now, somewhere, I put you on the whitelist. You should be out there somewhere, Ruel. I see you.
Oh, really?
I see you. You're over on the left.
Where
Goblin is stabbing you in the back. You're making a run for it, and you're out. Oh, no, you are still there. You are still there. You're just hiding in the middle of a huge scrum. You're at 50% health. You are running for your life. And Duchess is coming after you, exacting vampire. But you run, you've escaped. Look at you, you're running towards the center of the screen, and you're stabbing Soft the Razor in the back, and Soft the Razor. One of our big hitters is out. But then, and Nazgoth runs from you, even though he's ginormous. And now he brings the hammer down. And Kristen is, and you took out Nazgoth. You are unstoppable, Ruel, until you just got stopped by Christopher Owen, who has just taken you down. And we are down to Tibby Baloo, who is running for the health pack. Okay, Tibby is in it to win it. And goes up with Furry, 215. Okay, there's another health pack. Furry, go for Furry! Run for the health! Too late for Furry. And then Tibby goes and says, bring it. Tibby picks up a double health pack. Duchess. Run, Duchess! Run!
Run, Duchess!
It's run away! Oh, no! Oh, Duchess, those wings aren't going to save you! And a backstab from Tibby Baloo brings them out on top.
Tibby.
The old double health pack, tough to beat.
Yep, well done, Tibby. And don't forget, friends, you will be regenerated in just a second, so you are safe.
All right, that was pretty good.
There they are.
You were doing pretty well there, Will.
I
You
was
know,
when
need
you
to
said I was on the
customize yourself
white
a little
list,
bit.
I was like, did I get like extra armor or something? But I apparently I
No,
did.
you were just in the right place at the right time. You made all the
Nice.
right moves. Congratulations. Let's see here. Right. So we need to
Awesome.
put our episodes of the thingy back on the Who's-It and the What's It. Control X, Control V, save. All right. Right. Okay. It looks like we are good to go. And my phone just beeped at me. I'm going to take a look at that before we see, just in case it's an important text. What is that? I don't know what you're talking about, Honey Pie. Jen just texted me. Do I? I am going to have to look at that later. I don't know what that means. If it was really important, she would have poked her head in. Okay, so here we go. Boom. We're putting the warning. Everybody, you can see up there, we are not going to be chatting with the audience, but you can certainly chat amongst yourselves. And while we're doing the show, depending on how long it goes, we might have a little bit of time for Q&A afterwards. So if you'd like to ask any questions, make your comment start with a question mark, so it will go into our special queue. So if we've got some time afterward, we'll do some Q&A. And if you forget that, just scroll down a little bit. I put a got questions little bitmap below the video so you can see there's a reminder of how you can ensure you put your questions in the queue. Okay, and with that out of the way, let's go on ahead and get the, where is it? What do we need? We need the sponsor. Sponsor of the show, Fire in the Hole. Okay.
And then are you going to talk about the game on the table?
Yes. So, yeah, I'll be first thing, and then because this is what we're doing, we're also giving this away, and then we'll just continue with number 60, number 51. 1C, 2C, 3Z. You good to go?
Easy peasy.
Lemon squeezy. Okay. All right. Hey everybody, this week's episode of the R&R Show is brought to you by Fire in the Hole. And hello, Ruel, how are you doing, sir?
I am doing fine, my friend. And how are you?
I'm doing okay. I've got this weird twinge in my wrist. I don't know why I'd be doing a carpal tunnel thing, but I think carpal tunnel happens along here as opposed to here.
Yeah. Is that your main board gaming hand, perhaps?
For all my dice rolling and all my meeple moving, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very strange. It just started right before we started filming. I am fine. Don't get me wrong. Everything's cool.
Okay.
Everything's copacetic here. But you asked, so I held nothing back. There's a little bit of information for you. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to, take care of ourselves, be safe out there. And, board gaming can be a little treacherous at times. So just stay healthy, my friend.
Can do.
All right.
Okay.
So,
yes.
Talking about healthy and what's going on your table there.
That is the worst transition ever. Talking about healthy and what's on your table. I was just waiting, folks, for Ruel. He gave himself all kinds of openings there. But anyway, yes, Ruel, there is something on my table. It's literally the game called Fire in the Hole, which is our sponsor today. And it's a game that's on Kickstarter for just a few more days. And it has blown up. And I think there's one main reason. Let me show you. Here's the box, right? Here's the board. You'll notice I haven't extended the board yet because when you open the board, you get a cool pirate ship. Let's do that again.
Yeah.
In slow motion. Whee! Let's do that in overhead so people can see it from all the angles. Look at that. That is just fun. And that's not all, because we keep on opening. And the waves that come up on both sides as well. So, this is a very silly party game. And Jen and I actually played it this morning before we started filming today, and we both agreed it is a hoot. The way it works is everybody has a hand of 1, 2, 3, 4 cards, and on your turn, you will draw another card, and then from your hand, you will play a card. There are some definite take-that style cards where you can steal the lovely felt cannonballs from your opponents. These things are, first thing Jen did when we set this up is she just started throwing these at me because they're little basically balls of yarn that are held together by felt. They're very, very cool. So there's all kinds of different effects. Release the Kraken, bring out the black spot, but the most important cards are the ones that let you fire. So let's say this turn I'm going to do a double-barreled fire. So that goes into the discard pile, and the draw pile is over here. And then what happens is whenever you play a card that lets you fire, you roll this die, which means either you get to fire alone or everybody gets to fire. And so, what's going to happen is, in this case, let's say I roll, and it's a solo. So I'm going to be doing this on my own. That is a benefit to me, definitely. So, what one needs to do then, in the case of, this is a particularly interesting one, the double barrel fire is, I take 2 of my cannonballs. Normally you're only shooting 1. The rules say I have to keep my arms, or my elbows, touching my sides at all times. I'm going to go to a zoomed out view. And I'm just trying to fire, and I have to fire them simultaneously because it's double barrel. Wah! Hey, that was pretty good.
Hey.
Let's take a look at the damage done. Now, what players are racing to do is be the first player to have 4 cannonballs adjacent to each other that are not diagonal. Diagonals don't count, but any sort of adjacency does. And as soon as somebody does that, they win the game. But as you might imagine, often when I'm firing, everybody else is firing at the same time. So everybody's throwing their cannonballs in all at once, and they're getting knocked around and all that. Oh, I forgot. I didn't complete my setup. There's another important element. Over here, I was just so excited about bringing the waves up. There's the mast. And of course, the mast comes in. And this is very interesting. Positioning around this board changes things radically, as you can see, because this big mast here. So if I'm sitting at this side, it's going to be tough for me to shoot in the back. If somebody is at the back, you might think, oh no, they're screwed. But the nice thing is, this mast becomes kind of like a catch-all and makes it very, very easy to land in the back. So, but there aren't as many spaces in the back as there are in the front. And so where you're sitting makes a huge difference, which is why one of the cards, actually it's probably, I think, just about the most common non-firing card is There She Blows. On a turn, you can arrange this however you want. If there's somebody who's doing really good, arrange this so you're in a good firing position and they can't get to their balls and they have to shoot at other stuff. But there's other things, like the black cannonball, that if you land it in there, it destroys every one of your opponent's cannonballs that it's next to. So you just drop it in. Or there's the black spot. Somebody needs just one more space to finish. Oh, now you can't fill that space anymore because the black spot is there. And probably it's a gimmick, but it's a good gimmick. The best one is there are different types of shots. I mentioned the double shot. There's one where you have to do it eyes closed. There's one where you have to do it with your offhand. The coolest one is where you have to do it with a pirate patch. Arr! And so everybody puts their pirate patches on. Everybody takes their shot. And I gotta say, this makes a difference. It really, really does.
Oh, yeah.
I have not really worn pirate patches. And then for the rest of the game, you can just go on ahead and flip it up and keep on playing. It's a hoot. Yeah, obviously, this is a silly, fun, fast-playing party game. The game's going to last 10 minutes at most. There's a little bit of strategy. Maybe you want to save some cards for a particular moment. And so which ones I'm going to play. There are ones that let you dig through the deck or the discard pile to get certain cards. And so there's a surprising amount of simple party-level depth. And there is just no way people aren't going to be giggling from start to finish and, busting out. I mean, they say right here, this is the discard pile. So the game encourages that kind of silliness, and the production is absolutely stellar, especially because I have to admit the reason I was interested in this game in the first place was not because of the cool pop-up nature, but because of the environmental impact. This it's wool felt fair trade cotton balls, naturally dyed eye patches from 100% organic cotton and natural rubber, wooden dice, playing cards coated with a water-based varnish, and the 3D pop-up is also a water-based varnish. So this game is very decomposable, very sustainable, very environmentally friendly, probably just about the most environmentally friendly game I've ever seen. Even the box. Some people might say, oh, I need my linen finish on my cards. No, you don't, folks. These cards feel just fine. They shuffle just fine. And this game, which, as I said, has blown up on Kickstarter. You can hit that eye in the top right corner screen to go check out the campaign. It's only running for a couple more days, but this shows a future. Putting aside just the silly fun, whee, woohoo type silly stuff, which is fun. It is genuinely a fun, silly little party game, but there's a lot more going on with Fire in the Hole. Phew.
Yeah, that looks fantastic and a lot of fun. And I want to shout out my friend David. He was one of the people that worked on this. I forgot what capacity. He might have worked on the video for it or whatever, but he's one of my local Twilight Imperium buddies. So I love the fact that he worked on this game in some capacity. I just thought of something. This would have been the perfect show to call this the R&R Show.
Oh my gosh, why didn't we think of that? Of course. Welcome this week, everybody, to the R&R Show. Oh, man. If I can remember, I'll do that at the end when we close down.
There you go.
But
I
anyway,
would
and
too.
I will not do the rest of the show with this eye patch on because that is very distracting. But anyway,
Yeah,
folks.
it totally kills your depth
Oh
perception,
yeah,
right?
totally,
Like you
totally.
have
And in a
that.
game where it's
Yeah.
very important because you're actually trying to
Yep.
shoot. So, I think the game is great. It's on Kickstarter for a few more days. It's been a huge monster success. And we're going to be giving away one copy of this game to one lucky winner. But Ruel, how? How could they possibly win a copy?
Well, folks, you're going to be watching the show and listening to the show, and one of us is going to say the secret word or the secret phrase. And when you hear that, you're going to send an email to us at rahdo.com, email contest@rahdo.com with the name of the game that we're talking about at that particular moment.
Yes,
So
indeed.
the secret phrase today is, what was it again? I totally forgot
I'm
what
typing
we
it up
agreed on.
now because I didn't have my keyboard out because I was too busy playing Fire in the Hole. The secret
Okay.
word you have to be listening for, folks, while we're doing the show today is mass market.
Mass
One of us
market.
is going to
Yes.
say the word mass market. And I'll be honest, I hope this is a game that makes it onto the mass market. This is a game that
Yeah.
belongs in every toy store in the world. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
And especially because it, again, demonstrates a fundamental paradigm shift for what high quality board games can be. So, anyway, the secret word is mass market for a completely different reason. If you want to know why the secret word is mass market, hit that eye up in the top right corner screen or go follow the show notes to watch the extended edition of this, where you get to watch our pre-show, where we do all kinds of hijinks with the audience, and we have a post-show where we do Q&A. But that's for a future day. You're here and you want to know what our continuation of our top 100 games of all are. But before we get going, remember, folks, listen for either Ruel or myself to say mass market, and whatever game we're talking about at that point, send the name of that game to contest@rahdo.com to enter to win Fire in the Hole.
Yes.
Phew.
All
Okay.
right. Woo, nice.
Thank you. So,
Right. So,
are you ready to go? Do you have your continuing list?
I do, and yeah, why don't we get this party started here?
Shall we? Shall we?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we are doing our top 100 games of all time in the definitive R&R list. We are all the
Oh
way
my
up to
gosh.
number 60. I'm trying to work it in every
Yep,
time
yep,
we
yep.
say something today. So we're
Understandable.
gonna start with number 60, folks. Yeah.
Yep.
We will see if we can do it.
All right.
Okay.
So what's
so
up?
I will kick things off with number 60, and it is
Yes. Yes.
Gentes, the Deluxeified edition.
Really?
Yes.
Gentes.
So, yes, Gentes, and now I always pronounce it Gentes because I
I'm
live
not
in Southern
certain, I have to admit.
California. Yeah, I'm in Southern California, so I know a little Spanglish, and that would be the way I would say it. Gentes means
right.
people, and I believe it also means people in Latin. But this is a civilization game, and what's really cool about this, what I love about it, it's all about that timing mechanism, right? So you're taking actions to build your civilization over, I think it's 3 ages, and as you can see in the video there, you have all kinds of monuments that you can build, but it's all about those action spaces. You're going to go take action spaces throughout the board there. Some of them will help increase or upgrade your people. Some will upgrade your buildings. But every time you take an action, you're taking time to do that action, and you're going to place the time tokens. I think, yeah, they're like little hourglasses on your board. And as you fill those up, you're going to run out of time to do actions. So there's a lot of cool choices here. Do you take one of the actions that cost double time, that are going to cost 2 sandglasses there? Or are you going to take one that only takes 1? And it's going to be a little weaker, but you may have more time to do more actions. I think it's a wonderful game. And this, I think you're playing in the video here, it's the original
This is the
version.
original Spielworks version. You specifically called out the Tasty Minstrel Games Deluxeified edition.
Deluxeified edition. Folks, if you've never seen those Deluxeified versions, oh my gosh. It was awesome. The wooden pieces, the meeples, I mean, they're huge. Like, it's just like, honestly, like, you can obviously play the Spielworks version just fine, but I think they really took it up a notch, and you got metal coins, you've got this really cool insert. And now, if you're looking at inserts, folks, they partnered, I think, with Folded Space. And that Folded Space insert is so awesome because it cuts down on setup time, it cuts down on breakdown time, and you can get that game going because the game is about an hour and a half or so. Oh my gosh, it's a wonderful game. And if you know the designer, Stefan Risshaus has done one of the all-time greats in Arkwright, and this is another his. I love this game. I've played it in all various counts, and also has a solo version as well, which I've soloed, which is wonderful. It takes out just some of the action spaces and stuff, but it's wonderful. That's why it's our number 60, Gentes.
It's
The
a
deluxe
great game,
edition.
make no mistake. But
Yes.
wow, top 100 of all time. You
Yeah.
make me want to go back and play it again. Quite frankly, I remember thinking it was very, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I wanted to get some pictures of the cooler, more recent, colorful version. I think this is
Yeah.
what you're talking about, as opposed to the more dry and dusty version that I had.
Yeah, this one has, but again, I see the pieces on top there. Those people, they're actually like large meeples in
Yeah.
the deluxe
Oh,
edition,
okay, yeah, I
which is
just can't
really
quite see
cool.
it from this angle. But anyway,
Yeah,
interesting call. You make me want to
give
go
it
back
another
and
shot.
try
I
it again.
think,
Yeah.
yeah, go back to it. I feel like it's a little overlooked out there, because everyone talks about, you talk about Risk House, you talk about Arkwright, but this one I felt like was overlooked. So I would highly recommend checking it out again.
Our number 60. I love it.
Yeah,
Gentes or
cool.
Entes or
Empty.
whatever works for you, apparently, because I do not believe
Exactly.
either version could be bothered to put a proper pronunciation in the rulebook. Board
That's
game publishers,
one, yeah.
please put proper pronunciation guides in your rulebooks, please.
Right? Yeah. If Board and Dice can do it, anyone can do it.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's not that
Yes.
hard. But anyway,
It really isn't.
let's move on for number 60 to one I'm pretty sure I can pronounce correctly, and one of my all-time favorites from my all-time favorite board game designer, Macao. Stefan Feld really, really knocked it out of the park with this one. It is, is this his heaviest? I think this and Trajan are probably his two biggest, richest, heaviest, most complex games. Although, they're really kind of, this one is just another. Well, it's not trading in the Mediterranean. It's trading in the Far East. We are in the city of Macao. We are Western traders who have come to do work to trade goods, to be able to send those goods back off to the far, far west. And the central thing, there's a couple of really interesting elements that drives this game. One is there's a whole bunch of cards all the way around, that are randomly or semi-randomly put around the board as part of setup. Those are the timer for the game. We are constantly working our way through all of these superpower cards and taking turns grabbing them, while also trying to make business contracts with the various and sundry industries that are in Macau. So all that stuff is pretty straightforward. What really makes this game stand out, and I'm going to see if I can fast forward a bit, is this Windrose. This is one of the coolest action selection mechanisms the industry has ever seen. Because the notion of it is that basically you grab a bunch of colored cubes. That means interacting with different things in the world. And the more cubes you can grab, which means the more actions you can get to do, and your cards want you to have different colored cubes to be able to combine to do different types of actions and whatnot. But to get those cubes, you basically make an investment. You say, okay, I'm going to do this thing that lets me grab 4 blue cubes, because I can see I'm going to need a lot of blue cubes or a lot of purple cubes or whatever it might be. And then, let's see if I can find myself doing it. Eventually, I will do it in this video. And then I will take those cubes, and in this case, I will take 2 red cubes and put them 2 rounds in the future. It will take me 2 rounds for me to get those. And I need them right now. You need everything in this game yesterday. But every time you go and grab a bunch of cubes, if you just grab a single cube, you're going to get it very quickly. 2 cubes is a better return, but it's going to take a while. 4 cubes or 5 cubes, you're not going to see those until halfway through the game, which means you have to be making really in-depth, short-term, immediate plans and long-term plans. Okay, I know in 5 rounds, I'm going to be able to get this huge influx. And I can see, probably in round 3, I'm going to get that card that needs all those cubes that I'm going to get in round 5. But maybe I should take them in round 4 and get them sooner, because I will need to use that card as soon as I can. But I know I'm going to need more cubes. Will I be able to, scratch the surface and make all this timing work out? This game, I've often talked about how I love games that really have the passage of time being a big determiner of how the game works. And this game does it in such a unique way that feels so natural. A lot of times, my kind of games, really big, heavy, abstract, Euro goods conversion, economic simulations, feel very disconnected from the real decisions you would make, but this makes sense. Oh, I'm going to open a really big contract. It's going to take whoever I open this contract with a long time to fulfill that contract. If I do a really quick contract, I can get you that thing tomorrow. And you're constantly having to juggle these things in one of Stefan Feld's greatest designs of all time, number 59, Macao.
Yeah, this is one of the games I have not played by Mr. Feld, and it's always been on my list. I've seen it at a game night before, and I wasn't able to get into the game as already going, but I've heard nothing but good things about this.
Oh, you owe
and
yourself to it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it looks awesome. All right, great choice. So let's continue the list. Oh shoot, I pressed the wrong button and everything just blew up on me.
Oh
Uh-oh.
no! How exciting!
No, don't do this to me right here. Okay, let's see if it works now.
You can do it, Ruel.
Come on now. Number 58 is Yokohama.
Mm.
And it's funny that I just realized I put this game here, and they also have a deluxe edition, which I've played, but I put the regular edition because it doesn't matter which edition you have, folks. It's a wonderful game. This is a worker placement game, and you know what? The way I describe this game is Istanbul, but for gamers. You know, if you played
I
the
like
game
that.
Istanbul, right? It's
Yeah.
very much like Istanbul, where you've got your worker, and then you have assistants. And what you're doing is it's turn of the century Japan, I believe, in Yokohama, and you've got industries that you're building up, and you got foreign investments, and you're going to put your worker out there and take an action. But if your assistants are there already, you're going to take a more powerful action. But again, do you want your assistants spread out through other different buildings there, or do you want them to focus in on one? Because on your next turn, it's going to determine where your worker go. You're going to take those assistants back, then go and use your worker again. Oh my gosh, this is a wonderful game by. I want to mention the designer Hisashi Hayashi.
I believe.
I don't know if I'm sorry if I butchered it, but he's done some of my favorite games, including this one, Trains. He did Metro X. He did Rolling America. So many great games, and Yokohama, wonderful game. That's why it's our number 58 on the list.
Yeah, I really love the gameplay in here. And that's interesting you called it Istanbul. Yeah, because you send your workers out, which I'm desperately trying to find a moment in this video when I will actually do that thing, but I can't seem to find one. And that becomes kind of like a road that you yourself will want to travel.
Yes.
It's so clever, so sharp. I highly recommend it too. Good call.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
call.
and I'm a fan of Istanbul, so this one just takes the Istanbul, almost like that one little mechanism, and really adds a bunch of more things there that gamers will appreciate. So again, number 58, Yokohama.
Cool. All right then.
All right.
Let's move on to number 57. One of my favorite adventure games of all time. For the longest time, it was my number one adventure game, Legends of Andor.
Nice.
From designer artist Michael Menzel, and geez Louise, this game is so good. And this game was so ahead of its time as well. These days, Ruel, we have an embarrassment of riches of cool narrative-driven multi-chapter fantasy adventure games where you have the board is a gigantic map and we travel all over the board having all kinds of adventures fighting monsters. And it's not like this hasn't existed for a long time in board game form. But Legends of Andor does a lot of things very uniquely from what had come before it and even what we still have today. This game is so much more Euro-y than Ameritrashy. There is some dice rolling to fight monsters, but dice rolling is almost an afterthought because this game has the puzzly feel of a pandemic style game with all the wonderful fantasy trappings of traveling around the world, stopping big monsters, saving poor hapless villagers, and fighting off onslaughts of bad guys who are coming to try to destroy the castle. I think probably the most interesting mechanism for me is the way that the monsters can hopscotch. Because if you look really closely at the board, every one of these little organic shaped areas that we can move around from has little arrows. We ignore them as players. We can go do whatever we want. But after we've done all of our actions, spent all of the time we have for a given round, and it's the end of the day, or it's actually the next day, the monsters will all start moving forward following the little arrows. And they're all on different paths trying to get up to the castle. And if enough of them make it to the castle, we die. And but the thing is, in most games, you're like, oh, we'll just fight the monsters. Fight the monsters. Fight the monsters. In this game, that's the way you instantly lose. Because every time you successfully fight a monster and succeed, that pushes the timer forward. Kind of like a doom clock. The more we are successful at putting these monsters down, the faster they are going to come and the harder they are going to hit. So, often, very often in this game, especially when you're playing at the later, tougher, higher level missions, you have to decide, you know what? We just have to let that bad guy go because that bad guy is, it's just one hit to the castle, but we can afford it because if we kill that bad guy now, we are going to push the timer, the speed mechanism up to the next level. It's going to cause a bad event, and yet that is probably going to be 10 times worse than taking a point of damage. So managing this board full of monsters. And the interesting thing is, trying to make surgical strikes because they're all following the same paths, and all paths eventually kind of like funnel into central roads that they're going to follow. Once you get monsters on the same road, some of them move faster than others, and no monster can occupy the same space. So what they start doing is hopscotching over each other. And so if you get like a group of them together in one move, all of them can boom, just completely run you down. So if you're gonna fight one, you gotta pick, okay, if I take out that one right there, before it gets onto the main drag, these two will continue to move forward slowly. But if I let that one move forward, that's gonna mean we're gonna start having a hopscotch situation, and next thing you know, the castle will take 3 hits and we die. So this is the one we have to kill. Of the 5 opportunities we had to fight, this is the one. And if we had fought any of those other ones, we didn't know it at the time, we would have gotten rewards, we would have gotten experience. Yay, we killed a monster, but we probably lost the game. And I love that this game pushes you, and it's really challenging to make non-intuitive decisions to be able to win. A lot of people complain that I can never win this game. It's because you just keep fighting everything. You have to know when to fight, and more importantly, when to let them go so that you can focus on the main features of the game. So the game comes with, I think it's like either 5 or 6 chapters. Chapter 3 is the most important one because it has infinite replayability built in. Every time you play Chapter 3, there's like one of 5 different bosses, and each player gets a randomly generated objective they have to do. So Chapter 3, I have played dozens of times. I've played the whole chapter. Also, it's a 2-side board. The other side of the board is when we go underground in this really elaborate cave system and new rules show up. It's brilliant. It's so popular, it has spawned a ton of expansions and 2 sequels and a spin-off. This has been a monster hit for publisher Cosmos in Germany. It never really quite made as much of an impact in the rest of the world, but still one of my favorites of all time. Our number 57, Legends of Andor.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned this. I was just thinking about this game last week because I did a run through of a live stream of The Adventures of Robin Hood, which is another one of his games,
Yes.
a recent one, award-winning game, and he did something similar. I'm thinking not the gameplay, but the way he taught the game, which I love. I'd love to see this more. Where basically you get one sheet of paper, tells you the components, and you set things up, and then you go right into the gameplay within like 1 minute, not even 1 minute, 30 seconds.
Right.
You read, you put stuff on them, and you learn the game as you go. And I love that system. So if you haven't played Adventures of Robin Hood yet, folks, it uses a similar technique to teach it as Legends of Andor. Great choice. Great game.
Yeah, I love it. And that's I think that learn as you play tutorial system that Legends of Andor really years ago did this. That's one of the reasons it probably got the Kennerspiel. It won the Kennerspiel that year, I'm sure, because they realized, this is a game that teaches people how to play, kind of like a video game, and no one had really done that before. And now it's becoming much more
ahead of its time.
ahead of its curve, of its time.
Okay.
All right.
Great choice. Let's move on to our number 56.
Let's do it.
Number 56 is one of my all-time favorite 2-player games, and it is. Why is it not showing up? Hello.
It's coming.
Come on, 56. There you go. Sun Tzu. Just an awesome game. Yeah, this one has definitely flown under people's radars. It's by a designer, Al Newman. Alan Newman. It was originally called Dynasties, and honestly, the Dynasties version not as pretty as the Sun Tzu version. And what it is, you are warring generals. So this is a very in-your-face 2-player game. You're fighting. It's an area control game. You're trying to win the different areas of ancient China there. As you can see, you're putting out your little pieces. I think that might be the newer version.
Okay.
Or actually, yeah, that is. Actually, the version I have, they don't have those tokens. I actually have little miniatures, and the miniatures are awesome in this thing.
All right.
Yeah, super cool. Like, I was surprised it wasn't a Fantasy Flight game, honestly. I thought it was Fantasy Flight. But
here we go.
you're playing cards, and it's a totally meta type of game where you're just trying to outthink your opponent. But you have your cards, and they're numerical values, but each card has a different special ability. So you can end up moving some of your pieces to another location. You can kill off some of your enemies. You can send a plague in there, which kills everyone. And it's just all about area majority. And it's a very, very much like a tug of war. You're going to be the points go back and forth the entire game, and whoever ends up after 9 rounds with the token on their side will win the game. But there are a couple of ways to win during the game where you automatically kill all your opponents. But oh my gosh, this game Rahdo, I play it strictly with one of my friends. We have an ongoing game of Sun Tzu. My buddy Daryl. Shout out to my buddy Daryl. We play this, once every couple of months, and it's just an ongoing thing. And it's so fun to get in the meta. Like, oh, I know Daryl's going to this province because he did that last game.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going here, and it's just that back and forth. Oh my goodness gracious! They also have events that'll come in and special warriors that come in as well. A highly underrated and overlooked game for a two-player experience. It's in my top 5 two-player games of all time.
Wow.
It is Sun Tzu.
I have to admit, I mean, obviously this is not my kind of thing, so I've never heard of it, but it
Yep.
sounds very cool. What are these triangular things on the outskirts of the boards?
Oh, glad you asked. So these are actually the points that you score for each province.
Oh.
And they change during each age. There's 3 ages. Each age they're going to change. So some of them will be worth more points in the early part of the game. Others will be worth more points in the middle of the game and at the end. So you're going to be constantly shifting your armies around to try to get those big points. Now, that doesn't always work. Sometimes I've been able to outthink my opponent, Daryl, by going to all the smaller regions and take a bunch of smaller points and win that way. But he got me back last time by doing the exact same strategy. Oh, it's so overlooked, and it's absolutely wonderful. That's why it's our number 56,
Wow.
Sun Tzu.
It sounds very, very cool. I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah, really neat.
Yeah, I know it's not your type of jam. It's
No, totally
definitely
not.
not for everyone. Yeah, it's very, very much was it a knife fight in a phone booth type?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
just 2 players. But I mean, in that first
Yep.
picture, so many units on the board, such a
Yeah.
tiny little world to fight over.
Yep.
Yeah, it makes perfect
that's
sense.
what it is.
All right.
All right.
Cool. Well, let's switch tactics with number 55. No longer trying to destroy each other. Let's actually try to save the world in 55, CloudAge, which is from my second favorite designer of all time at this point, Alexander Pfister, is so amazing. And this is one of my favorites of his game. And it's interesting, you mentioned this is one of his lesser known titles. Although it is a very big and very ambitious title, certainly. It is all about the end of the world as we know it. The worst has come to pass. The Earth is a hellscape of just blasted away. There's no greenery anywhere in the world. Everybody's huddled for safety in cities. There are ravaging marauders that are coming and attacking the cities. And who are we? Well, we're here to save the world by floating around in blimps. Of course, it's all about blimp power in the future. And what we do over the course of this competitive game, because we're competing to do the best we can to help save the world, is we travel the world, traveling every turn with our blimp, trying to reach cities. The thing about these cities are, if you look at the board, since we're up high in the sky looking down on everything, often we can't quite see what's on the ground because of all the clouds, hence the name CloudAge. And so we're trying to reach these cities and trying to fight off the marauders and try to get restock from the people who are there after we save them. And that's when the game really gets interesting because, well, in addition to all the other stuff you can do, there's lots of upgrading your blimp and lots of different ways to increase its speed, its armaments, and all of that. But eventually you will move, you will reach a city, and there are these cards that represent the available resources in the city that you've come to, but you can't see what's on the cards because the game comes with these very, very cool sleeves that you stick the card in that represents what's available in the city, and the sleeve has a picture of a cloud over it that completely obscures the majority of what's in the city. So you are trying to make decisions when you're still up in the sky. Right, we're about to land here. What do I think I'm going to get best? Am I going to get more water out of the city? Am I going to get more power out of this city? Am I going to get more food out of the city? Whatever it is, and I can kind of tell because there's some unobstructed elements, and it's not until I actually land, after I've made the decision for what I'm actually going to try to engage in trade to get, that we pull the card out of the sleeve, the clouds part, and we can find out what was actually in the city. And the beautiful thing about this, though, even though this is a competitive game, it has kind of that whole race for the galaxy style, follow the players, because when I go to a city, everybody gets to go to the city. And everybody is taking their best educated guess as to what they think is going to be in there. And you can run into real trouble. You want to get the best you can, but you don't want to get the absolute best thing because there's opportunities to bust and whatnot, depending on what player count you play at. So you take your best educated guess, as does everybody else, and then everybody is waiting with bated breath until the card comes out. Oh my gosh, I had no idea there was all this power plants. Why didn't I choose that? I saw a lot of water, but it turns out that was all the water that was there. There was nothing else under the clouds. So there's this very, very cool semi-deduction, guesstimation game going on against the backdrop of a very, very cool post-apocalyptic trying to save the world. And ultimately, while we do fight marauders and we upgrade our things, the most important thing we do in this game is we literally try to heal the world. We are bringing green back to the world. That is our number one point-scoring opportunity we can do. And so Jen and I very much enjoy, by the end of the game, oh, look at all what was just a desolate, barren wasteland. There's green, there's life returning here. So it always feels very satisfying at the end of the game, whether you win or lose, to see how the world has changed as a result. And that leads to the other thing I love about this that actually puts this ranking so high for me personally. This is one of the games where Alexander Pfister has experimented with bringing narrative campaign storylines into a Euro-style game. You don't have to. You can just play the standalone game over and over and over again. It's got tons of replayability. But if you want, you can go through a multi-chapter campaign where you meet people, you do quests for them, and then later on in future chapters, they become cards that go into your deck. There's deck building elements of this game on top of everything else. And you see the world evolve and change because of the choices you made in the game. This is the kind of stuff we traditionally only see in big dice-heavy Ameritrash style games, but Alexander Pfister has been finding more and more ways to work it into Euros. And this is one of my favorites he's done. It is certainly not his most well-known. It's certainly not the last game of his that's going to be on this list. More is coming. But it is definitely one of my favorites for all those reasons. Number 55, CloudAge.
Yeah, this one, I missed out on this when it was out, and I was trying to get a copy, and I don't know if it was like sold out or out of print or whatever, but it was tough to track down a copy after it came out, and I'm looking forward to playing it. One of these days, I will get it to the table. I love the fact that, like you said, it has that narrative element to it. And,
Yes.
You don't see that often in Euros like that, so definitely a great call. And I know we're going to see plenty of Alexander Pfister on the rest of this list, so good call.
Yep.
Okay, so the last game I talked about was Sun Tzu, a very, Ameritrashy, area control game. I'm going to go a little different for our number 54 here, which I think you'll appreciate, my friend. Number 54 is The Voyages of Marco Polo.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Good stuff. Yes. You are one of the historical characters from that time. You start in Venice. You're going to go out and explore the world. In that time when there wasn't just you could just hop on a plane and go to the next country. You're going to be on a boat, and it is tough to travel. And that's one thing I learned when I first played this game. I want to shout out my friend Theo, the Geeky Gamer guy. He taught me this game, and it was insta love. And I didn't realize how tough it was to travel in this game. And money is tight early on, and it's just. Oh, it's a dice placement game, folks. And what you're doing is collecting resources, trying to complete contracts, and you're eventually going to go to the other parts of the world there, hopefully. For a dice placement game, this blew my mind away. I had never played anything like this, and it's really neat because the dice, as you take actions, you can still, those aren't totally blocked off to you. You can get those actions
dice worker
as well.
placement spots, you mean, yeah?
Yes, yeah. But it's going to cost you a little more. You're going to have to, put an extra die. I think it's an extra die, or you may have to spend a little bit of extra stuff. But as you can see there in the run through, you've got your list of actions. You have some free actions that you can take advantage of to, help your turns go a little smoother. Gosh, I love this game. It's actually been at least a year since I've played it. And as we're putting together our list, I was like, why haven't I played this game? I need to play more often because it is wonderful. One of my all-time favorites, and that's why it's our number 54, The Voyages of Marco Polo.
This is a fantastic game. I absolutely love this one as well. You're right. It's so challenging, this game. You have to work so hard to be able to make these caravans go, to the Far East from where you start out in the West. And the most important thing to me is every player starts out with a unique playable character that gives them a special power. We've seen this in lots of games, but never like Marco Polo, because every unique player power in this game is so insanely overpowered that in any other game you'd say, oh, this is totally broken. This game is broken. Look at what I can do here. Until you look around the table and everybody says, well, look at what I can do with mine. And look at what I can do with mine. It's basically like we're all superheroes in this world. And we have to leverage our powers to get farther ahead. It's and I have seen some other games do this since. The idea of special powers that are so amazingly broken, but the reason it's balanced is because everybody has a broken power in a different way. Makes it so satisfying. A good choice.
Yeah. You know, I'm glad you brought that up. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, the powers. I remember the first time I played it. You know, we're going over our each player's powers. Like, this is crazy. What? I
Yeah.
can just set my dice to whatever I want. That sounds insane.
In a dice
But
worker
then
placement
someone else
game?
has one that balances it. Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
Voyages of Marco Polo, folks. Play it if you haven't played it already.
I agree.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good stuff. And the sequel was also very good. There was a Voyage of Marco Polo too, and you could kind of mix and match them a little bit, but they were both standalone games, if I
Okay.
recall
Whoops,
correctly.
I just hit the wrong thing. Sorry.
Oh no!
Wow.
Hey, R2, how are
Hi.
you doing?
R2D2. How are you?
Makes a guest appearance.
Okay. Yeah. I hit the wrong button. I
Well,
built
obviously,
R2D2 Legos. There you go. There's
R2 wanted to interrupt this show to point out, folks, if you didn't know, Ruel Gaviola does more than just appear once a week on my channel to talk about games. Ruel's got his own channel. You can hit that eye in the top right corner of the screen or follow the links down in the show notes. He does all kinds of things. He plays tons of games. I mean, there are on his YouTube channel hundreds of hours of him and his wife and his daughter and his friends and family all playing lots of really, really great games. But recently, he and his wife Michelle have been on this epic journey to put together, what is this 10,000 piece R2D2?
It's slightly less than that. It's about 2,300 pieces.
That's
with
a lot of
R2D2,
pieces.
but yeah, it's a lot of pieces. It's the first Lego set that we've ever owned as adults, and honestly, we were blown away. We're like, this is the funnest thing in the world. It's so cool. So yeah, it's R2 making a little guest appearance.
Yeah,
on
a
the,
little guest appearance
on the
as an ad for
R&R show
the
today.
for the
Yeah.
Ruel Gaviola channel. Definitely, folks, check
Yeah.
it out. Ruel does so much great stuff. But okay, anyway,
thank you.
enough of that. Back to the list. I love your number 54. One of my favorite Euros of all time, definitely. But I don't love it as much as number 53, Tiny Towns. Oh my gosh, Ruel. I know you played this, right?
Love this game.
Love
So
this
glad
game.
it's on the list.
So
Yes.
much. And everything we've been talking about here today, for the most part, are really kind of much more Euro-y games, or much more crunchy games, or much more esoteric games that are really kind of made for hardcore gamer geeks like you and me. Tiny Towns is such a wonderful gateway game. I totally think publisher AEG should get this thing into the mass market because it just plays so wonderfully, so smoothly, so fast. It is basically it's kind of a Tetris polyomino tile laying style game without the tiles. Because what we're doing is we have a bunch of cubes and we are laying them out on a super duper tiny little town zone, a 4x4 grid. And every round we get to put some cubes out that will ultimately, if we get them in the right combination with the right colors, allow us to build a building. And these buildings give us all kinds of cool superpowers. And every time you play, you're going to shuffle up the deck of buildings and reveal a bunch, so that every time you play, you're going to get a bunch of different cool buildings that have different shapes, different colors, and different powers that you can leverage. And the tricky thing of this is, as you start putting all these cubes out, trying to get them desperately into the shape they need to be able to build the brewery or the town hall or whatever it might be, they're taking up more and more and more space because there can only be one cube per space on your little grid. But the beautiful thing, and so you are always in danger of running out of room. And if you can't build anymore, the game is over. But what you can do is, once you have actually gotten all the cubes in the right position to build that building, you remove them from the board and put the building in. And suddenly, you've got room to breathe again. And so this game has this really interesting, tension building, or I'm running out of space, I'm gonna just please get this one thing I desperately, oh, I got it, yes, I can build this, and then everything clears out. Right, now what's the next building I'm doing? Now, if you're playing really smart, every one of your cube, you're keeping your options open, so, this cube could go for that building, or that building, or that building, depending on how things evolve, because the thing I didn't mention is, how do you get the cubes on the board? There's a couple of different modes the game can play in. One of them is a bingo style thing, where there's a deck of cards, and a lot of the cubes are just chosen randomly, and everybody has to take them. Again, kind of bingo-y, but the core way to play the game, which is still my favorite way to play the game, is on my turn, I pick one type of cube, whether it's glass or stone or wood, and everybody has to build that type. And so, at least when I play this, I'm watching everybody else like a hawk. Okay, I know, I can see what Jen's trying to build there. I think she's going to need some stone, so she's probably going to call stone on her turn. So that means on my next turn, if that stone is coming in, I should put this glass over here, assuming Jen is going to place that stone, so that I'm building towards my ultimate goal. And I absolutely love that. And of course, there's the flip side to it too, is, Jen desperately needs glass. She desperately needs it. I could have done glass, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to build something that I know is no good for her, which she now has to waste space on her map and hopefully be able to find room for the glass on her turn. So, It's brilliant. So simple. It can be a little bit daunting to teach. I mean, I say it's a gateway. Maybe it's more like a gateway plus, because the first time you're teaching, oh, look, here's all these buildings and they all do different things. The core idea is simple, but to be fair, the game does come, like Legends of Andor before it, with specific rules to say, hey, is this your first way to play? Play with these buildings, because they're nice and simple, they're clean, they're easy to understand, and you could probably get this up and running with anybody without too much trouble. I love Tiny Town so much. What's shown here is with one of the expansions. Several expansions have come out for it that introduce more interesting stuff. I always have mixed feelings about it because just the core game is so perfect. Like we were talking about earlier, Shot and Totten. Or we were talking about Shot and Totten not in this show, but in the pre-show. Folks, we talked a lot about Shot and Totten and the earlier, and one of the things I said is that game is just about perfection. Tiny Towns is in that same realm, and I absolutely love it. Number 53, Tiny Towns.
Yeah, I cannot disagree with anything you said. It's an absolutely awesome game. Michelle and I love it. Actually, everyone I've taught it to and played it with, we all love it. It's just fantastic from beginning to finish. Great choice. I like it because it's got that, again, the puzzly element and sort of like Tetris style gameplay that myself and Michelle really enjoy. So give me those type of puzzles any time of the week, and I will gladly play them. So great call. And also with Tiny Towns, as you mentioned, it's a bingo-y style game, so you can play this easily online or with friends, and just one player just calls it out, and you can play it solo as well. I've played it solo a few times, and I've always enjoyed it.
A blast.
Great call.
Just great in every way.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of puzzles, our number 52 game is a puzzly type of game that I absolutely adore, called come on now, Sagrada. Yes. The puzzle in this game is trying to figure out where to place your dice. It's a dice placement game, but it's more of a pattern recognition game, right? So what you're doing is from one of my favorite designers, Daryl Andrews, along with Adrian Adamescu. You are building stained glass windows. The Sagrada, I believe it's in Spain. Is that what I don't know?
The Sagrada Familia, yes. It's a very, very famous, incomplete, massive cathedral from a famous architect, Gaudi. Jen, I've been there. We've seen it in real life. And as I understand it, the genesis of this game was, I don't remember if it was Daryl or Adam, they went there and they were so inspired by it, they said, well, we got to make a game out of this.
Yeah, and boy, what a game they've made, right? This is brilliant. It's a dice drafting game, so you're going to put out dice +1 over the number of players, and you're going to draft in snake order, so you go left and then left to right, then right to left, and you have to place those dice on your little stained glass window there. As you can see, there's different colors, there are different numbers, and what's really cool about this game, you have different scoring goals. You have the 3 up there, and you're going to have a secret one, a private one, where you're going to score a particular color. And along the way, they're going to have tools to help you out, just in case you get a little stuck there, which I always get stuck on this game. So I want those tools to help me get out of the bind that I put myself in. It's played only over 10 rounds. It goes by so much quicker than you think, and you really fill it up here. And gosh darn it, this is one of my favorite puzzle type games. I love how clever they've used these dice. And that's why it's our number 52, Sagrada.
An excellent choice, man. This game, and what is on screen right now does not do it justice. I filmed a prototype of it when it was on Kickstarter originally. The final version of the game has such wonderful, beautiful components and really functional ones too. And both Jen and I love it. It's a really fun and tension-filled puzzle. Although, for me, what really pushes it over the top, I believe it's had 2 expansions come out now. And when you start working those in, oh my gosh, it explodes in depth. Was it Passion and Life, I think.
Passion and Life.
Yes, they're both fantastic. I mean, just the core game is great. And it's a really wonderful gateway-style game. And then you add either of those expansions and it starts getting deep.
Life. I think you get those orange dice, which are like help you build the different things. And also, just want to throw this out there: they've announced there's going to be a legacy version of this game coming out later this year.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I did just hear about this not too long ago.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I am thrilled about it. I have no idea how they're going to pull that off, but I'm looking forward to it. Daryl Andrews, he always rocks it. So number 52, Sagrada.
52. Excellent. 52. Okay, well, we are almost done, folks. Just one more. And this, I'll be honest, is a really odd duck for me to include on a list like this. But there's no denying just how great our number 51 is. Space Hulk, Death Angel, the card game.
Oh.
Now, I would be shocked, Ruel, if you've actually played this.
I've heard about it. I've never played it. Isn't it like really hard to get?
It is
like,
all but
out of
impossible
print?
to get. I seriously considered not putting it on the list, quite frankly, because I kind of felt like, oh well, that's just being a jerk, because people can't actually play the thing. But yeah, there's no denying it. This is basically, what do you call it? James Cameron's Aliens, the card game. It's about a bunch of Space Marines. It is a cooperative game. Each of us, if we're playing together, have our own crew of 3. And every one of these Space Marines has unique powers, unique weapons, unique abilities, whether they're the healer of the group and all of that. And the interesting thing is, the Marines, they are our troops that are actually trying to fight off wave after wave after wave of bad guy. Oddly, they are also the board that we play on. Because as part of setup, we take all our troops, we lay them in a column on the board, all standing next to each other. And this becomes it's a column of Marines that all the bad guys, or the aliens, are going to spawn and zip around. They're kind of in orbit around us. And every round, more and more and more aliens will show up. They come via blip cards, which are exactly what you think. It's game over, man. They're coming through the walls and, all that kind of stuff. I mean, you will not be able to help yourself but constantly quote Ripley and Hudson and Bishop and everybody else, because this game is so rough and mean. This is widely regarded as one of the most cruel, punishing co-op games of all time, and it should be. While the time is over, if you win, you will have probably won with only 1 or 2 Marines still left standing, and everybody else will have been wiped out. And what we're doing is we're going through a series of rooms. Each room has a unique setup that tells you, oh, this room has crates that they might be hiding, or heating ducts, or various and sundry things, and they're just going to keep coming out of all these different locations. Sorry, this is actually one of the first videos I ever filmed with my iPhone, and oh my gosh, it's so terrible looking now compared to what I do. I have to get all so close to even see them. But, so setting up the room tells you what the different spawn points are, where they are on the overall column. And, once you get the room set up, then you start making decisions. And a lot of your decisions are all about repositioning. Saying, okay, there might be bad guys coming out of this heating duct, which is unfortunately next to our guy with the submachine gun who really can't fight them off. We need to get the flamethrower guy over there. So, I'm going to try and maneuver, get over here. I'm going to prepare. I'm going to start building up defense. You can build up resources you can spend to do actions. You can rest. You can support each other if you're next to them. So, it's all about making smart, informed decisions, because every round we've got a handful of cards. We each get to play a card for each one of our soldiers that will have them do things. After we've programmed all we want to do, then the aliens start showing up. And not only do they show up, but they just stream, and they're constantly moving all around us, constantly in motion. Hopefully we were able to predict where they were going to go, but if we can't, we just have to make do. Let's see. I need to get to the action parts. Right, okay, so the aliens are scary. They tend to clump up in big groups, and then they tend to just move, and they're constantly, trying to stay one step ahead of us. But if we can get lined up and take a shot, we roll dice. And this is why you wouldn't think I'd like this game, because this game is all about getting into position and then rolling dice, and these dice are cruel. There are very few successes. Most of the time you will miss. Most of the times the aliens will kill your kill your Marines. But you just keep fighting this war of attrition as they just beat you down, and you try to come up with clever solutions to problems based on where you think they're going to be, and then they surprise you, go in a different direction. And it's absolutely amazing. This is one of the only games that has gotten me so wrapped up in the drama that when I roll the dice and some impossible thing happens, that I have literally jumped up from the table and fist pumped because you're just from start to finish just curled up in a ball, so terrified because it's just so harsh and unrelenting. Most of these Marines are going to die. It is just about trying to make the smart decisions about, okay, who's going to live to fight another round. I mean, here we are halfway through, and I've already lost half my troops, and that the problem is, as all our troops are gone, there's fewer cards, so that means these orbiting aliens, they have fewer places to orbit. They're just going to hit that much faster and harder. And then on top of all of that, I mean, there's everything about this game is so smart, but my favorite thing about it is every round there's going to be an event. And some of these events, whoever is the lead player of this particular round, you draw the event, and a lot of the events, read it and do what it says. But some of the events say, read it, don't tell anybody what it says, make a decision between A or B. Can't talk to anybody. You have to decide this thing yourself. And these are the most pressing, incredibly tension-filled trials of command you could ever imagine in the game. Okay, I have to make a decision. I can't collaborate with anyone else. It's going to kill somebody. Am I going to let this person die or this person die? And then after I make the decision, it happens. Then I have to explain myself. Why did you choose that? Because and it's just so brilliant. Again, incredibly rich, evocative. Even though it is nothing but a deck of cards. There's a deck of cards and a die that you roll to do stuff. And yet, it just conjures up such amazing... I mean, I love James Cameron's Aliens. I think most people of our age do. Certainly everybody in the video game industry I ever worked with certainly did. And just a bunch of cards and a die do so much to transport you into this terrifying circumstance. And on top of everything else, it's a phenomenal solo game. And I say that, I know that, because Jen won't play it with me. She hates playing it because she is so freaked out by it. It just gets so under her skin. So mostly I have to play it solo, and I love it to pieces. Number 51, Space Hulk Death Angel, the card game.
Yeah, just listening to your description, the fact that you compared it to Aliens, it immediately rocketed up my list of games I must track down. It's going to be one of my holy grails now. Why is it not being printed? Was there like licensing issues? Do you know?
Well, yeah, it is. It's tied into what's it called? Warhammer 40K.
Oh, okay.
The Warhammer 40K
cool.
universe. So my assumption is Fantasy Flight lost the license a long time ago. And rather than say, hey, well, let's just repurpose this into one of our own, into the Twilight Imperium universe. They could have done that, but they just kind of let it go. And it's too bad. It's from designer Kori Kenichiya. One of the most highly respected designers to ever work at Fantasy Flight Games. And as far as I'm concerned, it is his masterpiece. It is so good. And like I said, awesome. I feel bad, waxing rhapsodic and singing his praises because it's all but impossible to get. But yeah, it's James Cameron's Aliens, the card game. It's phenomenal.
Wow. I need to play it.
All right.
That'll wrap it up then for this week.
There you go, yes. Another
Folks,
10.
Did you hear one of us say the magic words, mass market? If you did, send in the name of the game that we were talking about at that time to contest@rahdo.com, and you'll be entered to win your very own copy of Fire in the Hole, thanks to our sponsors.
Yes, oh my gosh, this is so much fun! It's just been sitting here the whole time, and when Ruel was talking, it was all I could do to just stop myself from just going, ooh, and and playing with it and stuff like that. Such a cool game. And then, when you're done, just take it all out, pour the pieces out, and then say goodnight, Gracie. Ooh. Hold it.
Oh, I love that.
Ooh, bye-bye. Even the rule book. The rule book actually fits into these little slots.
That's cool.
It's so clever. Everything about this game is so sharp. And one lucky winner can get their own hello peekaboo. Yep. All right. Well.
All right, we did it.
That is it. We have done it. We're at the halfway mark. We have done 50 of our all-time top 100.
Wow.
Yes.
And so far, the list has been tremendous.
I think so.
So many fantastic games. Yeah. Well, I mean, a few of them I haven't played, a few of them that you haven't played, but all of them are excellent. Yes. And you've got the patch. You know what you remind me of? You remind me of The Walking Dead, the governor. The governor.
I have no response to that. That was one of the greatest TV villains of all time. And I guess
that's
who
you should be proud of that. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I mean, that's the perfect thing to wear during the R&R show.
The R&R show. Yep. Okay, folks, I think, yes, that's it. Thank you for watching. We'll be back next week. We'll be in number 50 to 41. We will continue counting this thing down all the way to the end, and hopefully you can join us. And I want to say thank you, Ruel, for showing up. Thank you for everybody who watched, and for everybody who watches in the pre and post show. And thanks once again, finally, to our sponsors who are literally changing the game for the board game industry. Fire in the Hole, folks. Go check it out on Kickstarter right now. That's the R&R Show, everybody. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later. So long. Bye-bye. Okie dokie.
Oh my gosh. I will never stop laughing about the R&R Show.
I don't know why it didn't occur to me. It's so obvious.
Oh, well done. Okay. Well, we're at the time limit, but I'm okay with doing a couple of Q
Well,
and
yeah.
A's
Did any
if
questions
you
come
are.
in? Let's take a looky loo.
Yeah, there are a few. I would love to lead with this one from
Go, then
Fem
do so.
Sensei.
Oh
How
wait.
draining is it to do
No, no,
live
no, no. Sorry,
shows?
I was thinking of something, and I said, never mind. Start
Oh,
again.
okay.
What was the question?
How draining is it to do live shows?
This
That's
is what
the
I
answer
do
right there,
immediately
folks.
after.
Yeah, same,
Yep.
same. It's a lot of work. It's the amount of energy that you have to bring, and just as Richard, he does, the behind the scenes stuff. When I stream on my Twitch channel, things go wrong
Oh
as
my
you
gosh.
know, and you have to fix it on the fly. Oh my goodness, it is incredibly draining.
Yeah, it's interesting too. I mean, I'm fairly live wire high energy in every video I do. I mean, it's just kind of natural. But
Yep.
doing this, knowing that there are right at this very second, 73 people watching us live. I mean, I can't help but picture this group. I mean, to me, it's a real thing. It's not just some abstract number. And it just
Yeah.
really juices me up even more. I mean, obviously, I'm much more amped than I normally am. I think because I recognize that I'm putting on a performance for an audience. And so,
Yep.
yeah, it's even more exhausting than doing stuff normally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Versus like recording, like when you're recording a run through video that's for later. It's just it's a whole different feel, right?
Well, yeah,
I mean,
and
you
if I'm
literally have
recording a run through video for later, if I screw up, that's fine. I'll
Yep.
But here, because there's everybody watching, I forgot to put the flag back in. Oopsie, or not the flag, the mast. Yeah, I mean that's. There's this weird dichotomy between just more amped up than normal because there's a live audience, but also just this tightrope of terror that any second anything could go wrong, and
Yeah.
trying to anticipate, trying to say. I mean, there were a few things I screwed up. Actually, when you were doing, I mean, you actually had a really hard time getting your text on the screen. I know every time that happened to you, you probably got a huge lump in your like, oh, why is this happening?
yeah.
But you just got to play it smooth and just keep going.
Exactly. Perfect example during the show right now. Remember earlier on the pre-show, I had those problems where I couldn't hear you.
Oh no, did it happen again?
It happened twice during the show, and it was luckily both times it happened. You were describing your game, so I could just sit there, nod my head, yeah. But over here, you can see my hand, like I'm totally like clicking things, like oh my gosh, what's going on? And thankfully, it got back to online both times.
Jeez, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I know the feeling. I know the
Okay.
feeling very well. Good
Great
question. What's
Thanks
next?
for doing it. Okay, Bing asks, argument idea, best decade for music, 60s, 70s, 80s, or other?
Wow, that's
Ooh.
okay. Okay, well
I
let's
like
put
that
that to
one.
the test.
I like that one.
But what if we agree? Then we can't argue. Best.
Well, here's the thing.
decade-
I'm thinking like different genres because I have different answers for different genres, honestly.
just says
you know?
music.
Oh, it says music. Okay, what am I going to listen to?
Wow.
Gosh. Well, I'll tell you this right now. It's not 60s for me. I'm either 70s or 80s or other. As much as I love 60s music. Gosh. I really want to cheat this. I want to game the system. How can I say 80s slash
For
part of
this
the
and
90s?
that, for that and the other,
Yeah.
for pop music and
Yeah.
no, you'd have to
yeah.
pick one. If you could only listen to
Okay.
any music for the rest of your life from one decade, what would it be?
It's the music I grew up with. I've got to go with the 80s.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I mean, we're very close in age, so I mean that's the other thing that gets us so
Yeah.
close together.
Yeah.
I don't.
But
know.
here's the-
if
Yeah.
you went 80s, we could argue about this then.
Oh, we could.
We could.
You would take a non-80s decade.
I would be hard. I mean, it's hard. I genuinely can't say, but I'm so close that I think I could argue very strong, especially if it's put in the form of you can only listen to music from one decade. Whatever type of music you want doesn't matter. One decade for the rest of your life. Would it still be 80s? Because if you're saying
that's
that, I
brutal.
could say 80s probably doesn't cut that mustard for me.
Yeah, because now I'm creeping. Honestly, I could go either way. Am I creeping towards this back to the 70s, or do I do like I really like early 90s music as well?
There's a lot
But
of great
again, it
stuff that
depends on
happened
the
in the 90s.
genre.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
And
my
of course,
gosh.
anything in the last 20 years is garbage. None of it's good because we're old. And
Yeah, get off our lawns.
yeah,
you
and
know?
we're set in our ways. I mean, obviously, there's
Yeah.
lots of amazing things that are happening all the time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I would not
Why
say
is that though?
tens.
Why is that when people tend to get older? Why do we not keep up with music? Is it?
It's honestly, I mean, our choices in music are, I think, one of the first things we ever decide for ourselves. As
Yeah,
kids,
yeah.
everything is decided for us.
That's true.
Other than maybe cartoons that we watch, but where we go, what school, what we
Yeah.
learn, and I think this is a pretty universal thing. Maybe in the Western world, I can't speak for the rest of the world, but in the Western world, I think that's a pretty universal thing. That when you get into your teens, you really start paying attention to music.
Yeah.
Because suddenly you have a little bit of disposable income and you get to choose. It's not your parents choosing what's going to be on the stereo or the car radio or whatever, or streaming these days, I guess. And that first choice becomes a really, it's why for both of us, obviously we both were teens in the 80s. And so the 80s have like a really strong, I probably know the lyrics to more songs from the 80s than any other decade.
Same.
Because I was so deep into it. Now, it's interesting.
Yeah.
The thing is, when I got to the 80s and I was making those choices for myself, I wasn't listening to 80s music, which is why
Really?
I think I would argue for a different decade.
So would you go to the 60s?
I would probably
Beatles?
go to the 60s.
Wow.
I would probably
Hey,
because if you don't go to the 60s, you have to throw away the entire library of the Beatles.
Yeah.
You have to throw away all the early Rolling Stones. You have to throw away so much.
Now, could you live without the 60s Beatles? Could you live with like the solo stuff from McCartney?
Well, here's the
Lennon,
thing.
and so forth?
I already know the answer to this. If I could only ever listen to two bands / performers for the rest of my life, you only get these catalogs, what would they be? And for me, it's the Beatles and Dire Straits. I have known that for a long time.
Okay.
And so I'm kind of torn. Dire Straits is 70s, 80s kind of thing.
70s, yeah. Okay.
But
this is such a great question. Yeah. Wow. It's interesting because you're talking about, just how your decisions are made as far as music goes when you're a kid, and when you get to that, teenage years. Yeah, like all the music I liked was stuff that I knew my parents wouldn't like. I just, it's like,
yes.
I picked like, I would listen to, early 80s punk rock, like Minor Threat and Black Flag and stuff like that. Stuff they would never touch. And, and then later on, like, as I got a little older, I got into like thrash metal, stuff that they would never listen to. And yet, to this day, I still love the Beatles because I remember my parents listened to the Beatles on their old 8-tracks.
Because you have that connection,
Yeah.
But that sounds like that's a connection that was made on a deeper level as a young kid. Where that choice was made for you, which is why it's less important. Me, growing up, I was born in 69. You were born probably in the early 70s. I won't say when, but somewhere in that area. And I grew up listening to nothing but country and western for the entire 70s. I missed everything in the 70s.
What were you listening to?
I missed Zeppelin. I missed everything. But I can sing you the entire catalog of the Oak Ridge Boys. Or are
you a Johnny Cash
Conway
fan?
Twitty
Johnny Cash?
Or Johnny
Conway
Cash,
Twitty.
all of that stuff. My favorite song in the 70s was Queen of Hearts by Juice Newton, because I didn't realize at the time, it was the closest thing to a pop song that would played on country and western stations. It didn't belong there. It sounded so different.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That is great. I love it.
Yep.
Wow, let's do a couple more questions, shall we?
Okay, let's.
Chacha's asking, see you next year at Laracon.
I would love to. That's a long way to fly, so probably not.
Yeah.
That can't happen until Jen and I move back to England. Or Ireland. That's what I'm lobbying for. I want to move back to Ireland, not England.
Nice. Femsaise asked for Rahdo and Ruel.
Yes.
You're doing a combined top 100 taking place over 4 months or more. Is this an indication that your top 100 is really static and it's highly unlikely you'll discover a new game that cracks into your top 50? I'm going to tell you right now, no, it is not static, because I have a game, Rahdo, that's definitely going to crack my top 50. I played it one time. But it won't be on this list. It won't be on this list, but I played it once this weekend. It's already in my top 50 of all time.
What was it?
I think you know it. It starts with an A.
Oh. 2 words.
Arc Nova.
Yeah.
Nova. Yeah. Wow.
I have to admit, I cheated. Arc
really?
When we started this, I hadn't played Arc Nova yet. And then after I played Arc Nova, I cheated. I worked it out with our guy who combined stuff. Because here's the thing. There was another game that I realized, oh crap, if I thought about it, I would not have put this one on the list. Even though it's a very important game to me, SOS Titanic. I did not want to put that on the list because of the reprint, who it's coming from, and all of that. And I'm like, okay, I do not want to give that oxygen. So, that has to come off, and something else has to come on. And right around that time, I had discovered Arc Nova, and Arc Nova was kind of in the same area. It would rank much higher for me if it wasn't so long. So it was kind of an easy, pull that one out, put that one in. So,
Nice.
but
Okay, that's good to know. So Arc Nova is coming. I'm totally okay with that because, wow, what an experience! I played a two-player game. It took us about 3 hours, but I
mhm,
know it'll go down as we play more. But oh my gosh, I
it's
saw
amazing.
part of your video. I saw part of someone else. It lived up to the hype and then some. It was absolutely amazing.
Yep.
Okay.
So, but to answer the question, I'm very static. Yeah, hugely static. It's any given year. I don't know. If you're talking about like my top 50 games, which is what this is my top 50 and your top 50. A given year is lucky if maybe one or two games punches its way in there. Arc
Oh,
Nova
okay.
did. Now, actually, you know what? I'm curious. I'm gonna look now, really
Okay.
quickly.
While you look that up,
Oh
I'll
yeah, more
answer the
questions.
question. So my list is not as static. Like
Okay.
I have games coming in and out all the time, but I think it's at the lower end of it. Obviously, my top 10, 20 or so are pretty static. But excuse me, outside of that, the top 50, I change not quite a bit, but probably a little more often than you do. But great question. Thanks for asking, Fem Sensei. And you're going to be looking up the Arc Nova thing, was it?
Yep. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. Well, okay. Next question. Well, I'm doing this. I shouldn't even be doing this.
Yeah.
Uh,
Next question. Let's see. Let me find one here. Okay, here's one for me. Ruel, where does drafting, Sagrada, and worker dice placement, Marco Polo, rank in the list of your favorite game mechanisms? Do you consider them forms of the same mechanism or completely different? That's from Scott O'Brien. Great question, Scott. Wow. Um, I love worker placement. It's probably my favorite mechanism out there. And when you
really?
combine it with dice, yeah, I love rolling dice. So you have a dice placement game. I absolutely love them. Marco Polo, and I'm just looking behind me in the mirror here. I have Roll Camera that I recently soloed. I love that one.
Mm-hmm.
But drafting I enjoy as well. But I would rank them. I don't consider them the same forms of game mechanism as far as drafting and worker
I
dice
agree.
playing.
I
So
agree.
I
Yes.
feel like, yeah, I feel like
Very
they're
different
different
beasts.
enough. Yep. But yeah, great question. Thanks, Scott.
Yep. For
Okay,
me, I like dice worker placement. I love dice drafting. Worker
dice
placement for me
drafting.
is surprisingly a low. When I did my top 10 favorite mechanisms, worker placement did not make my top 10.
Oh,
And
really?
that's not to say I don't love
Wow.
it. I do love it. There's
Okay.
just things I love more. I mean, worker placement to me, I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's so ubiquitous. It's so common.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's tough to find something that does something really eye catching for it. Although that's
Yeah.
not fair. I mean, cool new ideas for work placement come out all the time.
Yep. That's true. Okay. Let's go. Oh, wow. This is Goblin asks, would you rather this or a live audience physically there?
Well, we just did the live audience at
We
Dice
just
Tower
did one
West.
at Dice Tower West. That's right. So now, Dice Tower West, like for those of you that didn't go there, I mean, you if if you were there, yeah, it was a special treat to see Richard running around, literally, physically running around, asking, talking to the audience, and also you frightened me to death when you jumped off the stage at one point, and then I saw you
And the
limping
audience didn't
later on
catch
that.
me. Oh no.
Well, yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, so that was a real treat, but. I don't know. As far as doing this, I mean, a live audience. Again, it's a different feel. We're literally talking to a screen right now, knowing that there's 70-something people there.
Yeah.
But live, you actually see those faces
Yeah.
staring back at you. So it's. I don't
If
know.
I
Do
had
you
to
have a
pick, I
preference?
think I mean, putting aside technical difficulties, just talking about
Yeah.
the raw act of doing it, I think I prefer this because it's easier. I've
Yeah.
done shows in front of live audience before, and it's literally terrifying. And if you do a joke and it doesn't land, oh, who cares? I mean, if you're laughing, that's all I care about. If I do a
Yeah.
joke in front of 70 live people and it doesn't land, it's like, oh, okay, I'm just going to be
Yeah.
here hiding under the table now for the rest of the show. Thanks. It's just so much more difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I'd rather do this because it's easier all around.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get another question here. Mainly for Richard. This question says. Have you ever considered keeping an apiary to make your own honey and to boost bee population as a side
Jen
effect?
has talked about it many, many times. That is 100% on her bucket list. Before we die, at some point, someplace we live, we will have an apiary. Definitely.
Awesome.
How about you?
It's funny. Before we went live today, folks, we were talking about the game Three Sisters, and
Yes.
I learned all about apiaries thanks to that game.
Yeah.
Okay, final question for today. Then we'll get going. Who's reprinting SOS Timeline? What's that?
Oh, that is
I don't know
it's
if you want
what's
to
it
talk about
called? The
that.
Gaming Goat, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the head of the publisher Gaming Goat is just a straight up dick online, and he kind of revels in, oh, I love being a dick and I love being a jerk to people. And I surround myself with people who say I'm nice, so really I think I'm nice, and that gives me an excuse to be a jerk online. And he was a jerk. There was a big brouhaha about a game he had on Kickstarter, and as it happens, he's also republishing SOS Titanic. Pretty much every designer who works with him after this big brouhaha that happened a few months ago with the fishing game, has all said, boy, can I cancel my contract with you? Because you were pretty much a monster the way you comported yourself. And I mean, of course, he himself thinks he's just completely misunderstood and it's all a joke and can't people just take a joke and kind of a thing. But you're just, he's purposely inflammatory. And maybe he's a great guy in real life. I doubt I'll ever meet him, but I don't have time for jerks like that. He knows he's being a jerk. He loves it. And I got to go because I'm going to have to call this back.
Yeah.
I've hung up, but it'll call back in a few minutes.
Yeah, I didn't really. I should have vetted that question. I wasn't really sure. My bad. Like I don't want to end the show on that note. Why don't we do this?
And by the way, once we don't answer, they stay in the queue for next week too.
Oh, that's true. Okay, cool. Why don't we do that then? We'll. Actually, there is no more.
Oh no! Well, we got ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, that was it. But okay, yeah, we got things to do, folks. Thanks for sticking around for an extended R&R. Well,
R&R. All right.
We're not recording anymore, so I think we could drop the R&R. But that was a lot of fun, as always. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us today. Don't forget, if you've got an Amazon Prime subscription, you get a free Twitch sub as well, one per month.
Yes, we should have mentioned that up front. All the goodies, the discounts on merch. Oh, by the way, I finally got around to it. If you scroll down, there's a merch button. If you click the picture, it goes to the merch page. There's still the Rahdo logo, but now there's the R&R logo as well. The cute. I finally got the permission, got it up there. So if you would like to adorn your chest or the back of your phone or whatever it might be with a cute, adorable picture of this mug and that mug, scroll down. And if you are a subscriber, which is free if you're an Amazon Prime, you'll get 20% off, plus all kinds of other benefits.
Ooh,
right.
Nice.
I got to get one of those myself. I so love that little cartoon of us. It's just so cute.
Yeah, I want one of those shirts too.
Yeah, I need to send you some stuff, definitely. I will get on that,
do.
along with everything else.
Let's rate someone. Someone in chat mentioned that Dave Losapalooza is actually soloing Arc Nova right now.
Whoa! So, well, that would be very. Yes, he is. Look at that.
Let's do that.
All right. Yeah. I mean, you can see for yourself, folks. It lives up to all of the hype. It is ridiculous just how phenomenal this game is. And plus, I mean,
seriously, I played it once this weekend. Immediately top 50. Easily all time. I need to figure out where it ranks for me.
Yeah, and the same was true for Jen. We just did her monthly Jen Jog thing, which is something you get to watch if you back on Patreon. Jen ranks all of the games she played over the month. And Arc Nova came out number 1 for her too. She was blown away. She gave it a very rare 5 out of 5 stars.
Wow.
Which she pretty much never does.
Well deserved.
So it is definitely all that in a bag of chips. So go say hi to Dave, and you'll get to hear Nina's 99 Luftballons floating in the summer sky. So go, 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 go! I've hit the button, and we will see if they went.
Okay.
All right. And it looks like he's right in the middle of making a big tough decision. And here we come with the party of 57. And he looked away right when we came in.
Okay.
Oh, there he is. Oh, he says.
I'm sorry, no music today.
Cool.
Oh, he has no music!
I just switched to a new system. So
I'm
still working on getting everything switched over. Hello, robbers.
Disappointing. But okay, anyway.
Okay, cool.
Cool. I will see you next week, Ruel.
Next week. All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye. And where's the button? There we go. Ending the stream.